Franklin Barreto homered in the bottom of the ninth, giving the A's a 7-6 win over the White Sox. There is big soccer news this morning. Barcelona says Lionel Messi has extended his contract through 2021. The news, a service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today. Just $19.99 plus $3 disposal fee for tires, oil service, and repairs. National Tire and Battery. That's all you need. 5:05, a check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
According to the forecast, it's going to be a long, hot summer. Russian collusion, James Comey,
obstruction of justice, impeachment, White House leaks, Jeff Sessions, climate change, Islamic terrorism, Vladimir Putin.
Join AM 560's Joe Walsh for a very special event on Tuesday, August 22nd. It's the Summer of Trump, live at the Bolingbrook Golf Club, hosted by Joe Walsh and featuring Hugh Hewitt and Guy Benson. Tickets are available now at 560theanswer.com/summer. That's 560theanswer.com/summer.
Message and data rates may apply.
Have you ever forgotten your password? With all the accounts you have and all the rules around passwords, remembering every single one is impossible. That's why millions of people are turning to Dashlane, the award-winning app that protects your passwords and creates an easy, secure way to access all of your accounts. And right now, you can get access to Dashlane free for life on your favorite device just by texting SECURE to 543-543. Over 6 million users manage their passwords with Dashlane. Over 6,000 companies trust Dashlane. And over 70,000 reviews give it a 5-star rating. But the only number that really matters? 0. Because that's how many times you'll forget your passwords using Dashlane. With Dashlane, your passwords are never misplaced and never forgotten. Simple, safe, secure. Unlock free access to Dashlane on your favorite device for life right now. Just text SECURE to 543-543. That's SECURE to 543-543.
All that extra weight is messing with your health, your sleep, your social life, even your love life. Time to take control. I'm Dr. Frank Marticello, and that's exactly what I did. I always worked out, worked hard, and no matter what I did, I couldn't lose that weight. I then saw a picture of myself, and that's what did it. I had to search for a solution. I found the ideal method. I lost 80 pounds, opened Total Life Weight Loss, and that was 9 years ago, and I've kept it off. Listen to this.
I hated being on meds needed only because I was overweight. I was tired of being tired and wearing black all the time. So I turned to Total Life Weight Loss. It was truly a life changer. Total Life Weight Loss gave me support and strategies to get rid of the weight and maintain my new current weight. I love the way I look and feel.
This is a medically developed protocol that helps you lose weight fast, get healthy, and keep it off for life. Call Total Life Weight Loss now at 708-695-5999 to book your free metabolic assessment or attend one of our free educational workshops. Again, that's 708-695-5999.
5:08. Let's check the roads this morning. In our Alarm Detection System Traffic Center and in for Jim Talamonte, it's Al Green. Good morning, Al.
Thanks, Mike. And let's take a look at some traffic here. Okay, first of all, we have some closures. Grant Park Congress closed between Congress Plaza Drive and Columbus for Taste of Chicago setup. Jackson also closed both ways between Michigan and Lakeshore Drive. And Columbus is closed both directions between Roosevelt and Monroe. And we have a report of an accident on 80 eastbound at Veterans Memorial Tollway. No exact lane closure known yet. On the Dan Ryan 94 outbound at 83rd, the off-ramp had been closed for a car fire. That's now been reopened. Other than that, 55 northbound at Bluff, an accident has the left lane blocked. That had been a full northbound closure earlier. Traffic's a service of Cece's. Now at Cece's, bring the party home this summer with 3 medium one-topping pizzas to go for just $4 each. Only at Cece's at participating locations for a limited time. Purchase minimum of 3 pizzas. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verity on AM 560, The Answer.
67 at O'Hare right now, and Chicago's Morning Answer comes your way next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935 with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, sun and some clouds, high 86. Tonight, patchy clouds, low 66. Hot day tomorrow with partial sunshine, high 91, and a strong late-night thunderstorm tomorrow night, a low of 70. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
68 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Wine Time Radio. Every Saturday at 5 p.m. on AM 560, explore the wonderful world of wine with host James Crooker and Rob Lehner.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy this morning is Ace Cub reporter John Cass. John, thanks for joining us. Did you have a good 4th?
Thanks a lot, Mr. White.
I see you have all your digits, so
yes,
it must have been
all my fingers.
Safe Independence Day.
Yeah, I did not, do the old hold the M80 till it almost blows up in your hand and toss it.
No beer can chicken incidents.
What is that?
I don't know. I mean,
what is that kind of like?
What don't
it's kind of like
don't
the
you do
leftist tweeters.
Well, don't you
come after me saying, all you could write about is beer can chicken.
Well, don't you do beer can chicken for Independence Day?
No, I did Greek lamb.
Oh,
Greek pork ribs with an excellent lemon sauce.
I'm sorry I was left off the invite list.
I'm sorry. And then we had the usual big ethnic political fight where everyone's taking different sides. And
really?
Yeah, we have that. We talk politics.
Are all of the attendees from Illinois?
Yes.
Well, so how can anyone in your
because
circle?
They're young people who are. Well, you know how it is.
Those
when
kids
you have to challenge your, elders, and I appreciate that. So we go through and disabuse them of their notions, and I love them all.
Well, why don't we go through and I don't know if we have to disabuse our listeners of their notions, but we do have some liberals that tune in.
Is it hard to disabuse yourself after you've been punched in the face?
So here's where the Illinois state budget impasse, and it's, we make this sound like it's about just this fiscal year's budget. In the worst governed state in the history of America, it's not a single fiscal year budget. But you do have this impasse, and while you were enjoying your Independence Day weekend, here's what the Illinois General Assembly did. They passed the massive tax hikes they proposed, a 32% increase in the personal income tax, a 35% increase in the corporate income tax. By the way, just a note for members of the General Assembly that may be listening. That's a 32% increase in the income tax. 1.2 percentage point, because it goes from 3.75 to 4.95.
You saw that tweet where they...
Well, yeah, that asshat from Proviso Township, Chris Welch, when he's not beating women, he's beating math. And he, I'm going by the police reports. That's what can I go by but police reports.
Mm-hmm.
So he tweeted out in response to Governor Rauner's veto statement of this tax hike with no spend reform that was passed. It's not a 32% increase. It's a 1.2% increase. 1.2 percentage points, 32% in terms of percentages.
It's called mathematics. It's really arithmetic.
Right.
And it's something Democrats don't, at least those in the legislature, don't really follow. All they listen to is, does Mike want me to do this or Mike want me to do that?
And this is something that we should have all resolved in grade school, right? I mean, the percentages.
I suck at fractions.
So Chris Welch from Proviso Township, congratulations, Proviso Township voters, nicely done. He was confused about that, so he was heaping moral scorn until somebody, a sixth grader from his district, informed him of the mistake he was making. Then he removed that tweet, but not before we caught it. Anyway, so that's passed the House. Then it passed the Senate. Then Rauner vetoed it. Then yesterday, the Senate moved to override his veto, and now we're left with the House pending whether or not Mike Madigan, the House Speaker since 1818, whether or not he will call the vote to override. And the scuttlebutt yesterday was that tomorrow is the day that he shall call the override. Now, importantly on this, the passage plus the override in the Senate, let's just start there because that's easier, could not have happened without one Republican, Dale Ryder from Southern Illinois, voting both for the tax increases, crossing party lines effectively, voting for the tax increases and voting for the override. And in the House, you had 15 Republicans, House Republicans gave Mike Madigan the veto-proof supermajority that he needs, not only to pass it, but also to override the governor's veto should he choose to do so. And let me give you an example of the surrender Republicans. One of the leaders of that caucus within the caucus is David Harris from Arlington Heights. Hey, nice job, Arlington Heights. Here's what he had to say on the House floor on Sunday night during debate over the tax hike, no spend reform.
Let me tell you something very clearly. I was not elected as a state legislator to help preside over the financial destruction of this great state. I respect
Those are Democrats,
my colleagues who are voting no, but to me, enough is enough.
Mm-hmm. Is that your feeling? Enough is enough. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. Enough is enough. We have to raise taxes and do nothing to reform the financial destruction of the state that David Harris referred to. By the way, he's been there for the better part of 2 decades. So actually, he has presided over the financial destruction of the state. He's been a cheerleader for it, and he was a morally indignant cheerleader for it on Sunday night during House floor debate on the topic. That's exactly what you hear. And the clapping in the background, which was all from Democrats because he was a vote yes, that's nothing new for David Harris. So here's the problem, John, and we've talked about this a lot. When the Republican Party has enemies inside its perimeter like David Harris, you can boogeyman Mike Madigan all day and all night long,
and we will. Don't worry.
But it is to no effect as long as you have a surrender Republican Party.
And I love it when they scream and yell. It reminds me of the times when you've been in court and the judge starts lecturing the guy and screaming at him and yelling at him, and then gives him a suspended sentence. It's the same type of deal. It's like, I've got to cover my butt in case some reporter's in here, and then I'll do what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, he's so angry he has to do this.
Right.
But enough
Or
isn't
courage.
But
I like the courage. The ones.
Oh,
that
it's always courage.
Oh yeah, because they, you hear them talk about courage. It's like, I wish I was at the Alamo right now with you, buddy.
The courage to tax.
Oh.
You heard a lot of that, the courage to tax. It's interesting that courage is always associated with raising taxes. So apparently,
not cutting.
Yeah, well, that's cowardice then. By definition, that would be cowardice. Reducing the size and scope and spend of government, reducing taxes is cowardice. I mean, based on that construct, by the way, if you are looking for a place to live with other cowards, Missouri, while that was going on in Illinois, Missouri is dropping its personal income tax, and it's scaling it down over the next couple of years. There's also a new 25% deduction on business income reported on individual returns. Those brackets in Missouri haven't changed up until the weekend since 1931. And Missouri, not really a low-tax state, but here's a familiar refrain: still lower than Illinois.
I feel like really when I was kind of joking to dissolve the state, and now I'm serious. Dissolve the whole thing. Everyone's leaving. Who's going to stick around? The people who want to take my money, and the people who want to spend my money, and everybody else is going to go.
Well, it's going to be San Francisco. It's going to be the very rich and the very poor, and nobody in between, because everybody in between is going to be squeezed out. So it would be the people that are insulated from bad public policy, or those that are the beneficiaries of it, and that's it.
Right.
I suspect.
There is corruption is not just taking the money. Corruption is convincing good people to spend themselves into oblivion.
Enough,
for your benefit. And that's what they've done.
Enough is enough. Let's raise taxes. It's never enough is enough. We're going to exact structural reforms of the state for programs that we cannot fund in their current
What are
form.
those? Because I hear the left say, "What structural reforms?" What do you when you say that? What do you mean?
Well, we spend all our money in 4 areas: K through 12 education, Medicaid, public sector pensions, and transportation infrastructure. So if you're not talking about those,
I get to use one.
If you're not talking about those 4 areas, then you're not talking about changing Illinois' fate. You're not. And you're on. You get to use the transportation infrastructure, or are you on Medicaid?
Neither.
Oh.
I did drive on a beautiful highway.
Yeah, it's
up here
it's lovely. So
and because I'm always glad that the Republicans of the past took care of the road builders, because you know how you doing.
Well, yeah, they've always been, the capos to the bosses, right? The Republicans.
We moved the earth, baby.
Yeah, the earth moves. Yeah. But your point about structural reform. So those are the areas, and then in addition to that, you have to have a conversation about business climate. But they're linked, right? If you run programs and systems that you can't afford, and so you just make promises that you can't fund, well, ultimately, the bills come due, and then you don't pay the bills, and then they rack up to $15 billion. And Medicaid providers stop taking Medicaid patients.
Forgot about lowering the threshold of Medicaid.
Well, that's right, under Obamacare expansion.
And also under Blagojevich,
yes,
under other Democrats, to bring in more votes that you want for your party.
Well, that's part of it too, and then the other thing that you do is in these layered layers of government, these multitudinous units of government, with a lot of 6-figure salaries and 7-figure pensions, ultimately this huge Ponzi scheme that is the state of Illinois. I'm not just talking about the pension funds; they are. The entire state is a Ponzi scheme. Mm-hmm. And as I've said before, what happens with the inevitable collapse of a Ponzi scheme? Everybody loses. Some lose more than others. So that's where we're at now. And, of course, this links to the kind of climate you have for job creators and entrepreneurial capitalists, whether or not they're going to find this place attractive relative to the other 49 laboratories of democracy they have from which to choose. And,
really
of course,
depressing.
they're making that decision.
It's really depressing. I mean, we're trying to be droll about it to be amusing, but at the same time, what I saw over the weekend, beginning with your tweet on one of the architects of the Vichy Republicans,
Steve Anderson from Geneva.
Oh, yeah.
Nice job, King County. Nice job, Geneva.
And once you see that, and you're thinking, okay, either it's war, people either stand up or we go. I mean, there's no other. When we're
revolt or bolt.
That's it.
I want to. We'll mention these names a few times, but the legislator near you. Here are the 15 House Republicans who voted for the tax hikes: Steve Anderson, Terry Bryant, Steve Anderson from Geneva, Terry Bryant from Carbondale, Frank Cavaletto, C.D. Davidsmeyer, Michael Fortner, Noreen Hammond, David Harris, Chad Hayes, who announced his retirement, Sarah Jimenez, Charlie Meyer, Bill Mitchell, Reggie Phillips, Bob Pritchard, David Rice, and Mike Eunice, which is Peoria speak for eunuch, who actually invoked Mother Teresa in justifying his vote to raise taxes. You know what a big tax hiker Mother Teresa was.
Big time, big government lady.
And here's the other connection. Those 15 House Republicans who voted for the tax hikes gave cover to 8 target House Democrats who were then allowed to vote against it. So they can pretend to be anti-tax, and they can pretend to be independent of Mike Madigan when they run for re-election in 2018. The 8 Democrats who voted against it, Mike Halpin, Marty Moylan, Michelle Mussman, Jerry Costello Jr., Natalie Manley, Sue Shearer, Katie Stewart, Sam Yingling. So now those are going to be the anti-tax candidates.
Oh, Sam Yingling. I stood up.
All right.
Here's just
and just understand, this is how you stay in the minority in perpetuity. You fall in with the other side to give them the opportunity to muddy the waters and feign independence from the established power structure that has been in control for 40 years and destroy the state. You completely befuddle the electorate, and you can understand why they're befuddled in terms of trying to figure out who's on which side, and quickly realizing that nobody's on their side. Memo to Governor Rauner in absentia. I appreciate the veto, but when you turn over the governorship to Steve Anderson for a week, this is what you get.
I want to tell everybody who's listening here, and I'll say it again during the broadcast. All those people who gave the Republicans who gave the Democrats cover, all of you, expect a phone call from me, and let's talk about your prospects in the future. Because I guarantee you, and if you want, Dan, I will write this in blood, that you will all be well known and people will understand and have something to hold on to when they go to the voting booth.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Searching for that black box is one of the most important aspects of aircraft accident investigation. But then, of course, you gotta have an airplane crash to investigate. I get it. Wait for the crash, investigate after. Sounds a bit late for all those on board. Sad to say, the same kind of black box approach is currently being used in our healthcare system today, which means nothing more than you feeling under the weather. Then we'll study the black box, x-rays, blood work, endless streams of diagnostic testing, uncover a terrible disease that may require a treatment plan that may prove even more deadly than the disease itself. This is Dr. David Kolbaba. I'm not into crash investigation. Here at HealthQuest, our passion is prevention. Spend more time, energy, and money on true preventative health care today, or you'll undoubtedly be spending more precious time, energy, and money later on some terrible sickness or disease. True prevention saves lives, one life at a time. How about you and your life? An ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of risky and dangerous medical care. Give us a call, 1-800-794-1855. That's 1-800-794-1855.
Message and data rates may apply. Please don't text while driving.
Did you know your organization's logo can do far more than you think?
Your logo carried my clothes to the gym.
Your logo kept my coffee warm all morning. Your logo charged my phone last night.
When the highly trained team at 4imprint put your logo on things people actually use, you'll be amazed at how powerful your logo can be. Not only will we unleash the full power of your logo, we'll show you the top 3 promotional items for driving new customers absolutely free. Text TEAM to 642-642 now. Every time your customers enjoy one of our promotional items with your logo, they'll think of you. Plus, with free art assistance, we'll make every item look fantastic for a great price. Satisfaction guaranteed.
Your logo keeps my laptop safe.
Your logo keeps me dry.
Attract new customers, reward employees, and make a lasting impression. Discover the top 3 promotional items for free. Text TEAM to 642-642. That's TEAM to 642-642.
Message and data rates may apply.
Does forgetting your password make your blood boil? If technology is supposed to make life easier, then why is it so difficult to log into apps and websites? We're about to simplify your life now by giving you free access to Dashlane, the award-winning app that remembers and protects all of your passwords, making it easy to securely access all of your accounts. Get Dashlane free for life on your favorite device right now by texting PASS to 543-543. Dashlane makes life online blissfully simple, safe, and secure. Trusted by over 7 million users and 6,000 companies. Top-rated in functionality, security, and ease of use. Honored with over 70,000 5-star ratings. Dashlane, where passwords are never lost, never forgotten, and always secure. Unlock free access to Dashlane for life on your favorite device right now by texting PASS to 543-543. After texting, please enjoy a sigh of relief. That's PASS to 543-543.
AM 560.
The Answer. Dan and John Cass in for Amy. Let's take a quick call. Holly and Hudson, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, good morning. I feel like I live in a loser state, but today I've won the Illinois radio lottery by having John join you, Dan. Super, going to be a great show.
Me too.
But I want
He's so excited, Holly.
That's how I
You
feel.
should see his face right now. He's like,
You know,
enraptured.
I grew up in New Mexico. The lone Republican in my high school just moved to Illinois. Just went on my way, having my kids, raising my kids. Did not really care about Illinois legislator. Didn't follow it. I spent the whole weekend on my deck following this on Twitter, following your comments, Dan, following everything, every hashtag. My family doesn't even recognize it. They don't understand why this matters. But you've turned me into, listening to you, Dan, these years, you've turned me into such an advocate. And I just don't, what do you do next? What is the next step? What can people do? I mean, both my legislator did vote against it.
Yeah.
Both my Senate, but what can you do?
Well, one thing you can do.
Vote in another district.
Yeah. Well, or you can, you certainly have friends outside your legislative district. So extend your radius to those places where there are competitive primaries and general elections, and pick out a target that you want to replace, a legislator you want to replace, and focus in on that race. If we just had a little bit more engagement and everybody trying to think, I got to turn this whole state around, just worry about picking off one legislator here and one legislator there. They add up quickly.
We used to just be, I used to just be for replace Democrats with Republicans. But now this last weekend, I was saying that doesn't even work. That's the worst thing we've been doing.
Well, that's why we have primaries and general elections, and that's why, much to the chagrin of many and to much criticism, I and my colleagues have been involved in primary elections, because it's a two-step process, and that's need to take advantage of both parts of the election cycle. Thanks for the call, Holly. Coming up, we'll pick up this discussion. Also, the impact of Trump's tweeting at 5:38. But now let's check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Dan and John, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 66 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and sunrise in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. President Trump headed to Europe this morning for a series of critical meetings. Stop number one is in Poland, where he will get a warm welcome. Trump joining a conference of Central European and Baltic nations with a major speech in Warsaw. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson says the threat of North Korea must be stopped. Tillerson says the U.S. is strongly condemning the isolated communist nation's launch of an intercontinental ballistic missile. Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull just met with Parliament and says North Korea must put an end to its weapons program.
Need North Korea to be brought to its senses to stop this reckless provocation, to stop this nuclear program, which is putting the peace and stability of the whole region, indeed of the world, at risk.
Turnbull says the launch is a new escalation. An NYPD officer is dead this morning, shot in an ambush-style attack in the Bronx. NYPD's Commissioner James O'Neill said just moments ago it was an unprovoked attack. The gunman firing a single shot at the officer as she sat in a mobile command center with her partner about 12:30 this morning. July 4th weekend was a violent one in Chicago. 62 shot, at least 8 of those victims dead. Last year's Independence Day weekend ended with over 60 wounded in shootings. 3 are recovering, including 2 Chicago police officers following a crash on the south side. A police squad and another vehicle were involved in that collision near 67th and Racine. 1 man is dead after being struck in the face by a firework on Chicago's southwest side. It happened in the 2500 block of West 54th. A package of legislation aimed at ending Illinois' 2-year budget standoff is back to the House, which convenes later today to face action to try and override Republican Governor Bruce Rauner's vetoes of a $36 billion budget fueled by a $5 billion increase in income taxes on you. North suburban Vernon Hills could raise the age for buying tobacco. City officials will vote later tonight on an ordinance that would ban retailers in the village from selling tobacco products to anyone younger than 21. Rays over the Cubs 6-5. A's top the White Sox 7-6. The news, a service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today, just $19.99, plus $3 disposal fee for tires, oil service, and repairs. National Tire and Battery. That's all you need. At 5:35, it's time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com. Providing the right climate for business since 1935. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Home isn't just a place, it's the feeling of knowing you're safe. ADT lets you take that feeling with you. Learn more at ADT.com.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-900-1904. That's 1-800-900-1904. 1-800-900-1904.
All right, I have to admit it was an eyesore, the chipping and paint peeling on our front and back porch. It looked awful, but thanks to CertaPro painters, the porch looks brand new. The painters who showed up were professional, respectful. They were done in just a few hours, and when they left, the house looked brand new. They really are the best in the business, and it's not too late to book your exterior painting project. There are several spots open on CertaPro's summer schedule. Here's an idea. Let CertaPro painters transform your home while you're on vacation and return to a freshly painted house. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary this year, and so we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. For a free estimate, call 1-800-GO-CERTA, CERTA, or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with the C. Get that painting project off your to-do list. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life.
5:37. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Jim is off this week, and in for Jim this morning, it is Al Verde.
Thanks, Mike. Right now on the Edens, we're not seeing any delays at all. It's 19 minutes out of the way between Lake Hook and the Kennedy Junction. Kennedy inbound, a 20-minute trip. O'Hare to downtown, 10 in from the junction, about the same outbound. Eisenhower in, a slight delay from Manheim to 25th. Half an hour in from Thorndale to the post office, 29 outbound. Stevenson in, just add a minute to the normal travel time, which is 34 minutes. So it's 35 in from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound is fine. Dan Ryan is 17 in from 95th to downtown. And on the outbound trip, just a 15-minute trip. Traffic's a service of CiCi's. Now at CiCi's, bring the party home this summer with 3 medium one-topping pizzas to go for just $4 each. Only at CiCi's at participating locations for a limited time. Purchase minimum of 3 pizzas. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verde on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Partial sunshine with a high of 86 today, patchy clouds and 66 overnight. Tomorrow, very hot with a strong thunderstorm developing in the evening. We'll top out at 91. Currently 67. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next with John Cass sitting in for Amy on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Kelly Financial Services, helping you secure your financial future today. Visit kellyfinancialservicesinc.com.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan, and in for Amy, Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass, as Mike Scott mentioned, and the number 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, the text line 64636DA. The question, well, I'll just steal the question from our friend VDH, John, Victor Davis Hanson, writing about Trump's high-stakes tweeting, as he calls it. Is ad hominem tweeting endangering or empowering Trump's agenda, or both, or neither? is ad hominem tweeting, name calling, endangering or empowering Trump's agenda, or both or neither? Well, we got Trump's answer over the weekend. He thinks it's working, particularly with respect to the D.C. press corps. Trump at the Celebrate Freedom rally at the Kennedy Center on Saturday night saying this.
The fake media is trying to silence us, but we will not let them, because the people know the truth. The fake media tried to stop us from going to the White House, but I'm president and they're not.
That's true. The D.C. press corps not president.
Not exactly bear any burden, pay any price, but
no,
not what your country can do for you. Not get rid of these damn commies. Not that.
It's not.
No, I don't know who said that.
Not Churchillian is, I think, the point you're getting at. But
thank you.
What about the underlying question? Is the tweeting not just the the Joyka tweet? That's my mashup name for
I heard
Joe and
I'm a
Mika.
listener, Dan.
Oh, great. Well, thank you.
Joyka.
Because it sounds Russian. Like
it does
like
have
Troika.
a little Russian.
Yeah. But
like Micah's cheekbones.
Well, that's true.
Before or after the
facelift. A lady doesn't tell these things.
Right.
But then over the weekend you had the CNN video tweet that created such a stir. With him body slamming some faceless wrestler.
I thought it was funny. Tell you the truth,
with a CNN icon over his head, and then you have DC press. He's inciting violence.
Gonna kill us, the people.
I mean, come on.
They cared more about especially like weasels like Brian Stetler and all that, rubbing his hands together.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they want to kill us. More on that than the guy from Illinois, the Bernie Sanders, the lefty with the gun shooting congressmen. There was more anger that way. It was amazing. Amazing.
Well, but so I think that's true. But so then the question is, Victor Davis Hanson, speaking of CNN specifically, he makes the point in answering the question that he posed. CNN is now no longer a news organization. It's been reduced to a caricature by Trump hatred. And that, he suggests, is a good example of Trump melting down partisan journalists and the progressive media.
But they're making money. They're selling a product.
Oh, we know from those
Trump
O'Keefe
hatred.
videos that
Right?
he's a ratings monster.
So they're doing that.
But
they're making money.
But what do you think the underlying question is? His tweeting, then the nature of it, the controversial tweets that we're talking about, endangering or empowering his agenda, both or neither?
I think both.
Yeah.
I think that I've on record from the beginning not liking the tweets. The President of the United States owes something to the people a little bit more than just partisanship, and a little bit more than, what he likes, his likes or unlikes. He owes us a different standard.
Well, so here's some survey results that in part, I think, address this question that was posed by VDH. USA Today Suffolk poll that was released Friday. When you think about how things are going in D.C. today, how do you feel? Excited, uneasy, alarmed, indifferent, blah, blah, blah. 75% of those surveyed say either uneasy or alarmed. Okay. With respect to, for example, the Senate Republican Obamacare replace, 12% of Americans support that plan. 12%. Now, here's the thing, if you got to kind of get into the survey a little bit, because it turns out in that same poll, 11% want to keep Obamacare. So 12% support the Senate Republican plan, 11%
They don't know what they want. Look, people want to be take care of me. But I'm reminded of my mom and Blagojevich's free rides. Remember Blago came up
sure.
with the free rides to seniors?
Yeah.
Well, she hasn't ridden a bus since she took us on the 63rd Street bus, in the 60s. And now, I remember she's like, oh, I want to keep those free rides. I'm like, Mom, you haven't been on a bus in 40 years, but he gave them to us. You know?
Right.
You know,
His
because when
magnificence, yes.
when government does, that's how they bribe. Well, who said this? The Republic will stand.
De Tocqueville.
Or it's attributed to de Tocqueville. Right?
Yeah.
As long as until the people are bribed with their own money.
Right. Well, I mean, is it they take care of us and we don't trust either party to take care of us? By the way, if that is your attitude, take care of us.
Just go die.
And you don't trust
Just go.
No, but if you don't trust either party to take care of you, maybe that's pause for reflection. That you're looking to the wrong enterprise to provide for you. Do you think?
Government.
I think this is also particularly in the healthcare. The survey results so interesting. 44% still want repeal. Only 11% want to keep Obamacare, and 12% support the Senate GOP plan. Part of it is what's being proposed is unintelligible.
By design.
Yeah. Well,
and it's also being written by the insurance companies. Come on.
Yeah, and it's
just like Illinois politics written large.
It's trying to satisfy all these little constituencies rather than start from a place of principle. And reflect the principles you say you represent, like transparency and simplicity, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the approach that they've taken, and so you can understand why people who aren't delving into the details on a daily basis like we do are a little bit confused about it. That's understandable. And, of course, Obamacare they've actually experienced, and they don't want that. So, I mean, there's always, you could always go back to a system predicated on the mutually beneficial exchange, on that is.
It's rather subversive of you to talk about this day after the Independence Day.
I mean, it's just rather jarring how unpopular both parties' big ideas are.
Just remember this: when the whole thing was designed to create a one-party, a single payer, right? That's what this whole Obama exercise was
Well,
about.
I understand that.
And at the end of it, remember this: when you need a hip, you know who you're going to go to? Mike Madigan. You're going to crawl on your broken knees to some politician to get you in the front of the line because the pain's too great.
Mike
And if you
Madigan's-
don't think that's how the world works and politics and government works, then you're not listening to this station. Definitely.
Mike Maddox is in a vertically integrated property tax appeals business with the prosthetics business. Got it.
Spinal surgery for the 15 Republicans.
Yeah, right. Transplant. Candace in DuPage.
Hi. I hope you guys had a great Independence Day.
Yes, thank you.
Hi, John.
Yeah.
The work that you're doing on the City Journal and all this information is so great. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
I just wish that you had more Twitter followers on your upstream ideas and stuff. I don't understand why you don't.
Nobody listens to me.
It's amazing. But what I wanted to say I went to Tennessee this weekend to see the relatives, and we were all talking about property taxes, and I told them how much my husband and I are paying, and they about fell over. And they're all paying like $600, $800, $1,000 a year.
Where?
In Georgia, Tennessee, and all these southern states. And they're like, come south, you know. And, they all have second houses. Some of them have third houses. And the reason why is because, their overhead is so low. So they can afford to siphon off money, into second properties and, and accumulate more wealth. So anyway, But one of the things I got into recently is House of Cards. And I think that, we have such an insidious group of people telling the Democrats and giving them a playbook. And if anybody's ever watched that show, I swear it's like a playbook for what they're doing to Trump right now.
I want you to watch another show. It's called Game of Thrones because the Night King, the one who touches you and turns you into a demon, he's Mike Madigan.
Thanks for the call, Candace. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've got another show. Come on. Political show. To understand Chicago.
Hit me. What?
You saw it.
What?
It's just receded into the reptilian part of your brain. Let it
mean
out.
The Abdullah
The Abdullah? Boss. Kelsey Grammer.
I didn't like that show.
You didn't like it?
No way.
That was like 15 degrees hyperbolic about Chicago politics.
I like the part about when the Latino alderman who I know had his henchman's ears cut off and delivered to the mayor. That was good. In an ivory box.
Yeah.
With like red velvet inside.
That happens every day on the 5th floor.
But what I didn't like was when Kelsey Grammer's talking about the assassination of Cermak. And he thinks that he took a bullet for Cermak. Give me a break.
Okay, all right.
As soon as I saw that, I'm like, typical Hollywood nonsense.
You are missing the forest for the twigs.
Oh, really?
On Boss.
Really? Why don't you drive? Go from Cicero to Michigan Avenue on 22nd Street. It's called Cermak, and it was named after that moron for a reason. They took him out and they rode up and down the street laughing.
I'm not challenging that historical critique.
Thank you.
I'm saying that in terms of portraying the culture of Chicago politics, it does a pretty good job. Pretty good job.
I'm going to have to
It's a little
go
sensationalized because it's TV. But
you mean the mayor with the mental problems?
Well, Kelsey Grammer ultimately gets a spoiler alert. So, I mean,
might watch it.
Nobody follows me on Twitter or listens to me anyway. But Lewy body is what he gets, like that really bad strain of dementia, like Robin Williams suffered from.
Oh, really?
So that's what ultimately happens to him, and he starts to.
So that means he can't testify in federal court under oath?
Yeah, but
when he leaves the office?
Yeah, but he acts an actual malady, not one of the invented ones that our actual mayors have.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you or a family member suffering from addiction or substance abuse? If you or someone you love is struggling with addiction, don't know where to go, or have relapsed, Haymarket Center can help. Haymarket Center wants you and your family to know that addiction is a treatable medical condition. With more than 30 comprehensive programs, Haymarket Center has successfully provided addiction solutions for tens of thousands of individuals and their families since 1975. Haymarket Center's comprehensive approach is at the heart of what they do. They address the whole person, including their substance abuse, mental health, and medical care. Their family-based treatment plan allows families to be part of the treatment program so everyone can be part of the recovery. Treatment does work. There can be a solution. Recovery is possible. Haymarket Center's message to you: hope starts here. Call Haymarket Center now for an assessment at 312-CAN-HELP, 312-CAN-HELP, or visit hcenter.org. That's hcenter.org.
Acme Home Insurance.
Yes, I'd like to make a claim.
What are you wanting to claim, sir?
My air conditioner broke down.
Sorry, but your home insurance doesn't cover air conditioner breakdowns.
So what do you cover?
Home damage from things like earthquakes, volcanoes, a zombie apocalypse.
A zombie apocalypse? But that'll never happen.
But if it did, you'd be covered, sir.
But not my air conditioner?
I'm afraid not.
But his air conditioner could have been covered with a home warranty from American Home Shield, plus major components of 20 other home systems and appliances, like his electrical system, plumbing, refrigerator, and more. For valuable free information, call 1-800-700-2119. Homeowners insurance can cover what might happen.
Zombies are coming!
But a home warranty helps cover what will happen.
Now the dryer won't work.
Be sure with the Shield. American Home Shield. For valuable free information, call 1-800-700-2119. That's 1-800-700-2119. 1-800-700-2119.
Did you know that if you have mutual funds in your IRA, 401k, or investment accounts, that according to Forbes magazine, you could be paying as much as 3.17% in hidden fees every single year? 3.17% may not sound like much, but over 10 years, it's costing you 32%, whether your fund is up or down. Hi, it's Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group in Chicago and host of the Alpha Wealth Hour on AM 560. This is just one of the reasons I hate mutual funds, and you should too. You may not know this, but you have far more investment options today without the excessive fees. Learn what they are in my free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds. What you learn may shock you. To get your free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds, call 630-519-4742. There's no obligation. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
Thinking of getting engaged to that special person in your life? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I've got the perfect place for you. Visit my friends at Roland's Jewelers, a family-owned jeweler in downtown Libertyville. Roland's Jewelers has a beautiful selection of engagement rings, and they're a direct diamond importer. That means wholesale prices on quality loose diamonds. Roland's is also the perfect place to shop for an anniversary or birthday gift. Roland's offers a large selection from designers like Hearts on Fire, Simon G., John Hardy, and Roberto Coin. Their knowledgeable and friendly staff can show you quality Swiss watches like Tag Heuer, Michel, and Longines. Roland's Jewelers is well known for excellent customer service. These guys are the best, including custom designs and jewelry repairs by their expert craftsmen. Let Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville make all your special occasions memorable. Visit RolandsJewelers.com. It's ROLLANDS, RolandsJewelers.com, or call them 847-918-7300. Roland's, a family-owned jeweler you can trust.
I hate cleaning my gutters. I kept hearing ads for that gutter guard system, so I thought, why not? I'll get an estimate. I was shocked. I never thought gutter guards could cost so much. Then I heard about Spring Rock gutter guards. The estimate is free, so it made sense to at least compare them. I was shocked again by how much money they saved me. I'm talking thousands, like enough to take my family to Disney World. They take a different approach to gutter protection. A completely closed design keeps all types of debris out of your gutters. Sure, those higher-priced systems may keep the leaves out, but Spring Rock gets the job done at up to half the price with no compromise on quality. Spring Rock also comes with the same lifetime warranty. If the gutter system ever clogs, they will clean it out for free, no questions asked. Same result for less money. That's smart. There's more than one option when it comes to gutter guards. Compare today and save at springrockgutters.com or call 708-571-0632. Special financing is available. Drain your gutters, not your wallet.
5:57. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Alverde.
Thanks, Mike. On the Edens, things are smooth either direction. It's 19 in or out from Lake Hook to the Kennedy Junction. Kennedy, either way, is just 20 minutes from O'Hare to downtown. No build-up there yet. Eisenhower inbound starts to slow from Mannheim to 17th. Again, from Des Plaines Avenue to Harlem. About 32 in from Thorndale to the post office. Outbound still in good shape. Stevenson in is a 40-minute trip from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, and no outbound delays. And Dan Ryan, that's 21 in from 95th to downtown. To get back down to 95th, things are still in good shape. Traffic's a service of Napa Auto Parts. This month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores, the Napa Bucket for $3.99 is back. Not only will you get 20% off 3 or more items you can fit inside, but they'll also donate $1 to the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund with purchase. All supplies last, exclusions apply. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verity on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center and our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Sun and some clouds today with a high 86. Patchy clouds for the night, low 66. Partly sunny tomorrow, high 91. Then a strong late night thunderstorm. Otherwise, partly cloudy tomorrow night with a low 70. Clouds and sun for Friday, high 83. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
67 at O'Hare. The news, a service of CC's. Bring the party home this summer with 3 medium, 1-topping pizzas at CC's. They're to go for just $4 each, only at CC's at participating locations for a limited time. Purchase minimum of 3 pizzas. At 5:59, here are the stories we're following in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Chicago police coming off a busy 4th of July weekend. The department performing raids across the city to crack down on violence. At least 62 were shot across the city between last Friday and last night. 8 of those victims have died. 3 people are recovering following a squad car crash involving 2 Chicago police officers on the south side near 67th and Racine. And 2 Chicago men are being held without bond connected with a shooting that left 3 dead. Rays over the Cubs while the A's beat the White Sox. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
He wants to send big and small gift packages to the U.S. I'm Dave Anthony. Fox News. That's what North Korea's leader says, that his country will demonstrate its mettle the day after upping the ante with a new missile test condemned by the U.S., prompting an emergency UN Security Council meeting this afternoon. The Secretary of State has vowed the U.S. would never accept a nuclear-armed North Korea. The U.S. and South Korean forces held joint ballistic missile drills after the North Korean missile test, and that missile test by the North Koreans showed an intercontinental ballistic missile that may be capable of hitting Alaska. Now, the North Korean threat will likely be a topic when the president heads overseas again. President Trump will leave later this hour, starting his second foreign trip in Poland.
He's likely going to receive a very warm welcome. That's because there's a lot of similarities between the Trump administration and the Polish government. The Polish government is a conservative government. It favors a lot of very restrictive immigration policies. Poland's also one of the few NATO allies that actually meets its commitment to spend 2% of its GDP on defense, something that President Trump has, of course, been calling for.
That's Fox's Kristen Fisher in Warsaw. After Poland for the president, it's off to Germany for a G20 summit of world leaders. A New York City police officer ambushed after midnight. That is scanner audio from Broadcastify. An officer screaming his partner has been shot over and over.
The officer was assigned with a partner to a mobile command post when a suspect fired through the vehicle's window, striking her in the head.
That's Police Commissioner James O'Neill. Officer Miasota's Familia died at a hospital a few hours later. Now, the suspect was found by officers about a block away, and police say he had a gun and flashed it, and then he was shot and killed by cops. This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
The temperature this summer is on the rise, and everyone is talking about one person, President Donald Trump. As controversy swirls around his presidency and the Democrats and the mainstream media take aim, what will happen next? Join AM 560's Joe Walsh for the Summer of Trump, Tuesday, August 22nd at the Bolingbrook Golf Club, also featuring Hugh Hewitt and Guy Benson. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/summer. That's 560theanswer.com/summer.
What's the scariest thing about going to the dentist? Opening your mouth or opening your wallet? Because just a simple cleaning can cost $100, and things like root canals can cost you hundreds more. If you don't have dental insurance to help, you should give Physicians Mutual Insurance Company a call. 1-800-300-8038. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps pay for checkups right away, so you can call today and get your teeth cleaned tomorrow. Plus, it helps cover the more expensive procedures you might need down the road. Fillings, crowns, bridges, even costly dentures. There's no deductible and no annual maximum. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired or on Medicare. There are no networks, so you can choose any dentist you'd like. That's right, any dentist you want. Call and we'll rush you a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-300-8038. That's 1-800-300-8038. 1-800-300-8038.
With Quicken Loans, our simple process helps you understand all the details so you can be confident that you're getting the right mortgage. Call 800-QUICKEN or go completely online with Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.23%. Call 800-QUICKEN or get started online at rocketmortgage.com. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Home isn't just a place. It's a feeling that you're safe to enjoy the things that matter most. ADT lets you take that feeling with you. Whether you're at home, your business, or online, we help keep you safe. With security systems, home automation, alarms, and surveillance. So you can feel at home wherever you are. Go to ADT.com to get that feeling for less than $1 a day. ADT. Home. Safe home.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy this morning, Chicago Tribune columnist extraordinaire John Cass. And
Hello,
John,
my good people.
Yes, John, thanks for joining us. And, you know, the Independence Day weekend brings all kinds of reflections and various outlets from various perspectives on the state of national unity. And, of course, the rather anodyne hand-wringing about toxic partisanship. People don't have a great historical perspective.
Is that, you mean that when Jefferson was not referring to as an opponent as a hermaphrodite?
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, so, a lot of people who write for these leading opinion journals of the day.
Can't we just get along, Dan?
Well, right. They have a kind of a Rodney King philosophy on life. It's not particularly robust. And also, they don't really have kind of a full understanding of all 241 years. They kind of just think that, America started when they did. And they don't have a frame of reference beyond their own lifetime or see much need for one.
So modern.
Well, of course, John, as you know, the latest point in time is the most civilized point in time. A lot of people believe that.
Always.
Today is the most civilized time in the history of man.
We're partisan, but we could get past it. We could. What is?
Well, let me.
I was making ribs with a lemon sauce, so I missed that one. These partisan.
Are those like fall off the bone ribs, or are they beefy? They meaty.
Kick butt. They were really good.
I noticed you didn't bring any leftovers.
No, there weren't any.
Well, you could have set some aside.
I made I made the Greek ribs for the Americani for white people.
Yeah.
And then the Greeks wanted.
I love white people.
And the Greeks wanted regular ribs, and nobody could get along.
I'm not gonna make a big deal about it. I'll just say that when Krista McQuarrie fills in, she raids the Tribune commissary and brings us stuff. So.
Hey, when you were on the podcast, did you bring me some Stan's Donuts or something like that?
No, because I'm a one-way street. Isn't that clear?
So can't we get along? What is this?
Well, so let me give you a stat that just reading all these, that you got some Princeton undergrad, Muslim Princeton undergrad who went to Hooters, and now he knows everything there is to know about America. But hold on. Let me give you the stat that kind of jarred me to think about this as a topic, because there's a plethora of pieces in this general area. But this is Wall Street Journal, getting past our toxic partisanship, as I alluded to. And as of 2010, this is Pew Research. In 1960, 5% of Democrats and 5% of Republicans would be upset if their children married someone from the other party. 5% in 1960. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Today, what do you think that number is? Well, and by the way, this research is a little old, so this number is going to be bigger because this is as of 2010.
Mm-hmm.
But just to give you a sense of what's been happening and I think what continues to happen,
Mm-hmm.
as of 2010, what percentage of Republicans and Democrats do you think would be upset if their children married someone of the other party?
80, 90?
No. You
What?
see, it's interesting you think it's that high, because I think it speaks to
They don't date. Look.
Well, I think it speaks to how much we obsess about how much we hate each other.
Because politics is the new church. Okay?
Yes, exactly.
Just like big TV shows like Game of Thrones is the new church. All right? It's about community.
Pervades everything.
Community and a catechism or so forth. Yeah. And people have rules. And in the business of dating, I mean, I married a young lady years ago who marched in the No Nukes parades. I mean, people don't. I've seen surveys.
How'd that work out?
32 years. Okay.
No, the nukes part.
Oh yeah. Well, let's Okay. So the point being, people used to date. I don't know what happened to American men in my day.
Yeah.
You didn't care what her politics were. Who cared? Now people care.
Well,
I can only hang out with Republicans. I can only hang out with Democrats. Who gave a rat's patoot back when you see a beautiful girl with big brown eyes? You don't care what her politics are?
As of 2010, up from 5% in 1960, a third of Democrats and half of Republicans said they would be upset if their children married someone from the other party.
Politics is church. They used to be upset.
Well,
is he a Methodist?
I think
Is he a Catholic?
I think that's part of it, but let's suspect that those numbers are even higher than a third of Democrats and half of Republicans some 7 years later, because I suspect they are. It also speaks, I think, in part, I agree with you that politics pervades too much of our lives because government is so big.
That's why.
Right. But also there is this real difference in worldview and moral code. And that makes a difference. I mean, I wouldn't marry, I would not, I mean, not that anybody's asking, but I wouldn't marry a liberal. And I wouldn't, if I had my fictional children.
I think that would be good for.
If Hayek, my dog,
your fictional dog?
If he tried to shtup a liberal dog or a dog's liberal, a liberal's dog, then I would say no. I would have him neutered on the spot. So.
Is that Selma Hayek's dog?
F.A. Hayek.
Yeah, right.
Now, both Selma and Friedrich are Nobel Prize winners. Him in economics. That's who his namesake. So, but you have two sons, two young men. Would you be upset if they brought home some leftist kook with blue hair and piercings, spouting Comrade Bernie rhetoric at the dinner table?
Listen, you know why people didn't care in 1960 whether someone married a Democrat or Republican, their kids? Because they probably had the kids after they came home from something called the World War.
Yeah.
And they didn't give a... They had actually seen something that was a little larger than partisan politics, okay? And they were grown-ups, and they could deal with crises like, across the fence neighbor crises or in their neighborhood crises. They could actually deal with stuff because they had dealt with stuff called life and death. Now, this culture that we live in, everything's on this damn phone. People are living in their little cocoons, their little tribes. And, if you like a girl or a girl likes can I just keep it to the two genders that science tells us about?
You may.
Okay,
yeah,
I mean,
sure.
I don't want to be a science...
You're just using this as an example.
I don't want to be a science denier.
It's not limiting. You're just using this as an example.
Right.
Sure.
Whatever. Let people do what they want.
Well, we're not prescribing it. It's not,
you just said what?
What
would I do if the boys came home with liberals with pierced noses or something?
I'm not suggesting that anybody pass a law. Let people do what they want.
Right.
I'm suggesting would you be upset?
Good one.
Would you be upset? Would you pull John Cass Jr. and John Cass III aside,
Spiro and Peter, yeah,
and say, this ain't gonna fly? What are you doing?
How about this? What if she came home? What if the boys brought girls over, young ladies, because they're young men now, and they're carrying under their arm The Conservative Mind by Russell Kirk.
Then
and they're reading.
You marry that girl.
And they're reading the National Review now, the new one, not the one that used to mock Buckley a few years ago. The reformed conservative.
You give them a steak and you tell them to elope immediately.
Would I? But what if she wasn't a good person?
That's not possible if she's got the conservative mind.
Oh, really?
Under her arm. No, that's not possible.
All I care about is, are people good?
How do you, what's the base?
Again, Betty and I, she was a liberal. I'm a conservative. I married her. She's not as liberal now as she had. She converted.
But okay, fine.
Because converting is,
Well, I understand.
I love you, honey. We're going to go one way, one party, one.
Bringing people over to, but I mean, when you talk about being a good person, doesn't that start with your kind of moral foundation? And isn't that reflected in your politics?
Like the 15 Republicans in the Illinois Senate,
I'm not saying,
in the Illinois House who said, we're courageous.
I'm not saying partisan affiliation because, I mean, you don't have to.
Combine.
I'll give you chapter and verse on surrender Republicans in this state, just to use the worst example since they are. I mean, look, if these Republicans had been our hope at this country's founding, we would still be paying tribute to the crown. Okay, so Tories. I concede the point.
They would sell us to the Queen or King.
But so it's not partisan. Yeah. It's that's why you didn't say, some idiot politician, Republican politician's book, you said Russell Kirk's conservative mind.
Because I'm not a Republican.
Well, I know.
I'm a conservative.
But
so
now,
are you.
going back to that,
Yeah.
Conservative doesn't being a conservative and also, frankly, a religious conservative.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Two go
foundation for what kind of person you're going to be based on the values you want to represent in the world.
I hate to give you some
Not that we're all not sinners and we're going to make mistakes and all that.
Personal information. Just
I mean, I may go to jail for a year for my speeding ticket, so you may not see me for a year. So enjoy this time we have together.
Who's going to feed Hayek?
I don't know.
Amy?
I don't know. He may. I don't know.
You know?
I don't know. These
Hayek
these are
might be
scary
hungry.
times. All right, so go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Your point about my point.
Well, look, I just think they allow politics to get into every aspect of their lives. And you know what? Chill out. Okay? But I see that as the other part is religiously, you know, I've had leg men back in the day when I had leg men.
Yeah.
Now I do the column myself and I'm about ready to pass out. But back in the day, I had leg men, two great ones, Matt Wahlberg, an evangelical Protestant, Liam Thomas Aquinas, Francis Xavier Ford.
Liam Ford.
The famed Slim the Leg Man. And Liam is a Catholic.
Yeah.
So they would fight works and faith and works. I'd hear it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're smart guys, and they as a Greek Orthodox, they're both heretics to me. Both of them. And,
that's why you had them both fired and ended their careers.
And they're still working. And that informs my view.
Well, right. Okay.
So that's my view.
All right. Everybody who's not
And
Greek
Bernie
Orthodox is a
Sanders-
heretic. Got it. Oh.
Hello, Bernie Sanders. Hello, Miss Senator Sanders. Stop it.
Tim in Woodstock, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Oh, good morning.
Hey, Tim.
Thanks for my call. Good morning. Good to hear you. I think we probably agree that if you go back 50 years or so, we were Democrats and Republicans were much more in agreement in terms of how we decide to live the American life, how values we want to pass on to our kids. And I think it'd be fair to say that in the last 50 years, all the radicalism, if you will, has come from the left side of the aisle. They've inserted themselves into government. And I think one of the scariest things I ever heard a president say was when Barack Obama said in 5 days we're going to fundamentally transform the United States of America. And I agree that we should try to keep it out of our daily lives as much as we can and get along with people. But it's just tough. I feel like conservatives wanted to keep marriage the way it was. The left wanted to use government to change the definition of marriage. Conservatives wanted to keep abortion relatively infrequent, and they used it to make a right, for people. And now we're moving on to the transgender issue. So it's tough. It's tough to keep it at a low level when you feel like you're always on defense.
Thanks for the call, Tim. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fair point. It's also tough to find common ground. Let's find common or middle ground. Well, where's middle ground between being pro-life and pro-choice? I mean, I guess some restrictions. Where's middle ground? But believe on the marriage issue, is marriage this definition, or is marriage any definition you conjure up? It's tough to find middle ground at some of these issues. This is not to say that it all is lost. John, I have this op-ed in the New York Times from a young Muslim prison student that I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
How his expedition, he and two of his friends who are international students went to Hooters to find out what America's all about. Mm-hmm. And
you know what? I read it. I scanned it, and I read it the way a professional reads other people writing.
Yes.
And basically, the feeling I had when I read that was, if I could grab this kid and slap him in the mouth, I would immediately. Because I'm from Princeton. I don't care about the Muslim thing. I'm from Princeton.
Right.
I'm the elite, and I'm going to go with the unwashed and see what the real America is
This
like.
was
and the New York Times publishes it because that's how they feel too. And as far as I'm concerned, give them all flat tires.
This was an anthropological study. We should be grateful for these young men venturing off to Hooters to tell us about America. Let me read you some of the pros from this tiger. Princeton Tigers.
Tiger.
Our afternoon at Hooters was strangely rewarding. We marveled at the awkward dates, flannel shirts, frosty beer steins, and greasy mozzarella sticks. No wings?
Mhm.
Geez. John Denver played over the speakers. The atmosphere was flirtatious, but also paradoxically mundane. This was quintessential America, we thought, straight out of the movies. At Princeton, international students attend a separate orientation on acclimating to life in the U.S. We were given logistical information, taught some cultural know-how. But the thing that stuck out most to me was a flowchart graphic that depicted the lulls and peaks of how we might experience the novelty of this country. We're so cute here in America. Adapting to life at Princeton was generally smooth for me, aside from standoff immigration officers that stamped my passport with raised eyebrows. Yet they do that for me, too, in every other country. And East Coast winters that still don't agree with me. I'm in a state of relative bliss in the U.S., tucked between leather-bound stacks at the library, immersed in the luxury of reading and thinking. But now, when I want to get away from Locke or Voltaire, I know this is the condescending. This is really where he keeps it on. When I want to get away from Locke or Voltaire, I know where to go. That afternoon at Hooters, slightly nauseated from the deep-fried pickles, I had one thought running through my mind. Here I am, finally, America.
Did you hear this?
Isn't that a wonderful tribute?
You hear this? That's the boot kicking the guy right where it is special purpose. Because we all write like this at some time in our lives. If you're a writer, you've read Fielding, which is still the greatest novelist, and you do the italic precedes, and you write in which Dan Proft and John Casco on A Merry Adventure or whatever. And it's all that. Okay. But you know what? After a while, you grow the bleep up. And reading this in the New York Times, and you know what? The editor of the New York Times is a guy I worked with, Dean Barcade.
Oh.
No, I mean, Dean, back in the day, normal guy, he would mock this.
Well, they're
right
narratives now. And this is basically, can't we all get along around 20 drums?
No, can't we mock?
With ranch or blue cheese, what's it going to be? That's a big call.
Can't we mock
the next division?
Can't we mock the working class of America?
Yes, that's what it is.
From our platform of,
flannel shirts and frozen beer steins.
Sophomoric.
Paxton and Martinton.
Dan, good morning. Continuing with the literary theme, I wanted to back you up on an earlier comment where you said that each generation thinks of themselves as the most peaceful.
Most civilized, yeah, right.
And the great Stephen Crane in Red Badge of Courage had Henry Fleming lamenting the fact that there were no more Napoleonic wars. There are no more wars to fight, and I'm aimless.
Thanks for the call, Paxton.
Okay.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Well, today it's going to be partly sunny, high of 86, with patchy clouds and low of 66 tonight. And then tomorrow, hot with partial sunshine, a strong thunderstorm, high of 91. So do I water my tomatoes before or after?
That Princeton grad would be so impressed with how you read that.
I'd like to take that guy and make him water. I'd like to have him, I'd put the hose on his head and direct him on his knees throughout my garden to water. Thank you.
Please give it to Alverde.
Alverde, traffic, dude.
Thanks, John. All right, on the Edens, we do have a little bit of a delay. It's between Foster and Montrose on the inbound trip. Just 21 in from Lake Hook to the Kennedy Junction. Outbound, though, is just fine. On the Kennedy inbound, it's tight just from Cumberland to Harlem. That's also about 21 in from O'Hare to downtown. And no outbound delays to speak of yet. Eisenhower in 33 from Thorndale to the post office, 29 on the outbound side. Stevenson in slows from Cicero to Kedzie, also slow from Ashland to the Rhine, but really from State Street to Lakeshore Drive is where the majority of the backup is. 40 minutes in from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan in 22 from 95th to downtown, back down to 95th, still wide open. 57 inbound, left lane is closed from Halstead to the Ryan for road work, and that's causing a bit of a slowdown there. Lakeshore Drive looks good. No delays to report on the Bishop Ford. 390, no delays there. Tri-State, Adams, Reagan Veterans Memorial, all looking good. I'm Al Verdi in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Your kids won't be thinking about school very much this summer, but it's the perfect time for you to think about where you'll be sending your child back to school this fall. More and more parents are thinking about private school, and maybe that's you. Well, private school has never been more affordable thanks to halfpriceschools.com, where you can find tuition vouchers for private schools across Chicagoland available at half the normal price. No catch. Very simple. Find a school near you, purchase the tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. Halfpriceschools.com has schools located all across Chicagoland, including schools in South Holland, Arlington Heights, Downers Grove, Waukegan, Westchester, Bensenville, LaSalle, Peru, Aurora. So don't delay. Summer won't last forever, and school will be starting again before you know it. Visit halfpriceschools.com today. Many of these vouchers have already sold out, so don't wait. Visit halfpriceschools.com today. That's halfpriceschools.com.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I've seen it in my lab. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection, and I know that it works.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Barb was stuck in a pit of debt quicksand, only making minimum payments.
If you buy something that's $2,000 and then you only pay $25 a month, you end up paying $2,000 in interest.
Barb does not like being taken advantage of.
I just don't like that. I like being in control and paying my bills.
Barb regained control with help from National Debt Relief.
I love National Debt Relief. They were very helpful.
National Debt Relief has helped thousands of folks just like Barb eliminate more than $500 million of debt, and they're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau.
They make it pretty easy. They negotiated with my debtors. National Debt Relief saved me thousands of dollars. I like them.
Now that Barb's got it handled,
I don't have to worry about not being able to pay somebody. That's what I love. It's like you get your life back. You can start over. Yay!
If you're in debt for more than $10,000, Barb says you should call who?
Definitely recommend National Debt Relief. If they can help me, they can help anybody.
Call now. 800-993-5881. 800-993-5881. 800-993-5881.
All right, I know you're bombarded with MyPillow ads everywhere you turn, not only from me, but on TV, billboards, and in print. But the reason is simple. It's the best pillow available. You deserve a restful and relaxing summer, and the July radio deal using my name, Amy, in the promo code is the best deal available. It's the 50% discount on a MyPillow 4-pack, including 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for half the price. You can move the fill to give you the exact support you need regardless of sleep position. You'll sleep deep and won't wake up to a stiff neck or headache. And our good friend Mike Lindell manufactures them in America using only American labor. You can wash and dry them. They're hypoallergenic. And you get a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. So get your 50% off the 4-pack by calling 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
Hi, Barry Sterner, owner of your premier home mortgage lender, Townstone Financial. Interest rates are extremely low, so there's no better time than the present to do a no closing cost refinance with Townstone Financial if your interest rate is above 4%. Remember, Townstone has completed thousands of no closing cost refinances since 2002. And don't worry, there are no hidden costs. I guarantee it, and I own the company. We can also customize the payback period so you don't have to start over at 30 years or 15. Last week, I began a no closing cost refinance where the borrower was going to save over $100 per month. That's $1,200 a year. So give me a call now at 312-896-2111 and let me review your current situation. Lastly, do you have mortgage insurance or an FHA loan? Let us see if we can remove the insurance payments, which will dramatically reduce your monthly payments. The call is free and so is my time, so dial 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111 or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com. Townstone Financial is an Illinois mortgage licensee 6629 and MLS 136639, equal housing lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up, will North Korea wipe Illinois off the map before Chicago Democrats and surrender Republicans do at 6:36? But now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Dan and John, good morning. 66 degrees in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. The July 4th weekend was a violent one and a long one in the city of Chicago. 62 shot, 8 of those victims died. Last year's Independence weekend ended with over 60 being wounded. Chicago police coming off a busy weekend as they performed raids across the city to try and crack down on the violence. Chicago Police Chief of Organized Crime Anthony Riccio explained that the operation, in spite of taking just a few hours, took months of planning.
We need North Korea to be brought to its senses to...
Between early Monday and yesterday afternoon, officers arrested 58 on gun and drug charges. Police also recovered 7 firearms, confiscated marijuana, heroin, and crack cocaine. President Trump headed to Europe for a series of critical meetings. First stop, Poland, where he will get a warm welcome. The president is expected to give a major speech in Warsaw. Rumors turned out to be true yesterday. As Vice President Mike Pence spent his Independence Day here in the Midwest, walking in the parade of the West Michigan suburb of Grandville. These two boys were over the moon to meet the vice president.
It was very cool.
It was cool opportunity to be able to take a picture with him.
Pence and his wife Karen first up in that Independence Day parade in Grandville. Governor Rick Snyder of Michigan also walked in the Grandville parade with the Pence family. Closed-door meetings scheduled for today of the UN Security Council, expected to take place after North Korea's latest missile test. Suspects in the 2014 shooting down of Malaysian Airlines Flight 17 will be tried in the Netherlands under Dutch law. The Netherlands Foreign Ministry made the announcement this morning. The plane was shot down by a Russian-made rocket over part of eastern Ukraine held by pro-Russian separatists. Volvo will be the first major traditional automaker to completely phase out the internal combustion engine. Swedish automaker says starting in 2019, all new models will either be hybrids or fully electric. One man is dead here in Chicago, struck in the face by a firework on the southwest side. The incident happened last night in the 2500 block of West 54th. That firework was shot into the air, then came down on the man. The victim hospitalized for a time at Holy Cross Hospital, where he later died. Package of legislation aimed at ending Illinois' 2-year budget standoff is headed back to the House. In Springfield, the House convenes later today. They'll face action to try and override Governor Bruce Rauner's veto of a $36 billion spending plan. Chicago sports, Rays over the Cubs 6-5. A's beat the White Sox 7-6. The news is a service of Napa Auto Parts this month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Napa Full Synthetic Motor Oil is on sale for just $4.29 a quart. Quality motor oil at an affordable savings when you get Napa Full Synthetic. General States pricing. Sale prices do not include applicable state or local taxes or recycling fees. 6:34 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager lets the media have it.
All of the media is a form of manipulating the American public. There is not only no joy, there is sadness in me that I have to say this. This is a great country and a great democracy, and it deserves, if not a great media, at least a mediocre one. It's worse than mediocre.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
I hate cleaning my gutters. I kept hearing ads for that gutter guard system, so I thought, why not? I'll get an estimate. I was shocked. I never thought gutter guards could cost so much. Then I heard about Spring Rock gutter guards. The estimate is free, so it made sense to at least compare them. I was shocked again by how much money they saved me. I'm talking thousands, like enough to take my family to Disney World. They take a different approach to gutter protection. A completely closed design keeps all types of debris out of your gutters. Sure, those higher-priced systems may keep the leaves out, but Spring Rock gets the job done at up to half the price with no compromise on quality. Spring Rock also comes with the same lifetime warranty. If the gutter system ever clogs, they will clean it out for free, no questions asked. Same result for less money. That's smart. There's more than one option when it comes to gutter guards. Compare today and save at springrockgutters.com or call 708-571-0632. Special financing is available. Drain your gutters, not your wallet.
6:36. Let's get an update on the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Al Verde.
Thanks, Mike. On the Edens, the inbound trip is 23 from Lake Hook to the Kennedy Junction. It slows a bit from Cicero into Montrose. Back out only a 20-minute ride. Kennedy in 25, O'Hare to downtown, about the same back out to the airport. Eisenhower in from Thorndale to the post office, 33, 20 in from Manheim, 30 back out to Thorndale. Stevenson is 49 in, already heavy from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 36 on the outbound side. 55 traffic looks good on the Dan Ryan. It's 24 in from 95th to downtown. Outbound not showing any delays at all. Traffic's a service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today, just $19.99 plus $3 disposal fee. For tires, oil service, and repairs, National Tire and Battery, that's all you need. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Partial sunshine, 86 today. Patchy clouds and 66 overnight. Currently, we have 67 degrees. Your next news is at 7. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next with Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass sitting in for Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy is the aforesaid Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass. John, as Mike Scott was reporting, here's the status of the Illinois state budget and massive tax increases with nothing on the spend side, which is wildly unpopular, even among Democrats, self-identified Democrats, every demographic, because a lot of people can't afford more taxes in a state that already features the highest combined state and local tax rate in the country. And even for those who can, many say, why would I agree to send more of my money to Springfield? I don't trust those politicians to spend the money how they say they're going to spend it or how I'd like to see it spent, so why would I be on board for this? And they're not. So the status of that is House and Senate both pass massive tax increases over the holiday weekend. The governor vetoes the tax hikes, vetoes their proposed budget, which, by the way, is still $2 billion out of balance. I mean, they just never get to balance. They just cannot stop themselves. Understand, tax increases in this state don't go to right state government don't go to stabilize anything. They go to fund the rapacious spending of the Springfield Royals, the Illinois Royals. Point of order, in the 2011, Pat Quinn's tax increase, and then the Democrats' tax increase, which raised the personal income tax 5% and so forth. Pension debt, unfunded pension obligations during that period rose 25%. All you do is feed the beasts by agreeing to send more of your money to this group. I don't know how much clearer it can be in the worst governed state in the nation, in the nation's history, with the largest unfunded pension liabilities, despite the highest combined local and state tax burden, with some of the worst social services. Before Rauner, before the tax increase, during the 15 years Chicago Democrats had the run of the place. Worst.
With Republican governors who were sellouts.
Well, but I'm talking about the 15 years Blagojevich to Rauner. During that period when Democrats had everything.
Super majority, super everything.
Illinois, worst in the nation in providing services to persons with intellectual developmental disabilities. So go ahead and sell me that line of bull jive again about how they're doing this for the truly vulnerable. Are you going to buy that line of BS again? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. So both chambers pass it with surrender Republicans key to passing it. 15 in the House, 1 in the Senate.
The 15 gave the 8 or 10 Democrats who could have been targets, gave them cover. That's what it was about. So, remember I used to talk about the combine Republicans?
Yeah.
Here they are, okay? They're giving cover to Mike Madigan's boys and girls so that you'll be confused, you out there listening. You'll say, well, didn't so-and-so, they're Democrat, they voted against it.
Oh, you'll be getting mailers and hearing commercials about how anti-tax they are,
and
how
reading
independent.
Stories.
Oh,
You'll be reading news stories where credulous reporters will be writing, well, they oppose the test. Really? Don't be a chumbalone, okay? Don't.
So now it's pending. The House, the scuttlebutt yesterday was that the House was going to take up the override of the governor's veto tomorrow. They're back in session today. We'll see. Madigan could also not call the override, and he could just say, oh, I passed a bipartisan budget, Governor Rauner and Illinois families. I had 15 Republicans sign on to my budget, which, by the way, spends less than the governor's proposed budget. And so if the governor doesn't like this, despite the Senate passing it, the House passing it, the Senate overriding his veto, you know what? Then you do it, Governor. You come up with a budget, put the potato right back in his hands, and say you come up with a budget. No, by the way, we're a month from school starting, and where's the money going to come from? So that he could do that.
Yeah, but he won't. And here's the problem. Governor Rauner, who I supported we needed to do something. Here's the problem. He could have done something 2 years ago. When he first got in, 3 years ago, when he first got in, he should have gone to war then. But he didn't. It was rhetorical war. It wasn't real war. It wasn't cuts that he could have done.
Well, and oh, by the way.
And I'm sorry, but you're going to fight Mike Madigan? Don't play games.
He had a 44-point turnaround agenda, as the Illinois Policy Institute opined last week.
How long is that?
He's 0 for 44. 0 for 44. So now some of that you rightly say, well, that's because he's been blocked at every turn by Chicago Democrats. That's, of course, true. That's absolutely true. But he's also spent the last 2.5 years negotiating against himself, only to abdicate in this moment. And his abdication, because he wants to appear reasonable, whatever that means. He wants to be open to compromise, despite saying it incessantly and obsessively for the better part of the last 2.5 years. If it hasn't penetrated now, it never will. Despite all of that, he abdicates. And what fills the void that he leaves? That he doesn't want to stake out a position pre-special session to say, this is must-have. And this is what I won't do. And don't even think about sending me this. And this is what we're going to do. This is me against the Illinois Royals, just as I said it would be when I ran as a candidate. That's not what he's done. What he's done is he's played the inside game, and he's being played by Madigan and Cullerton.
Is there someone who, okay, I just had a little vibe here. All right? It might be, some juju. I don't know what it is. Is there someone out there who might challenge him in the primary?
If he signed,
Dan Proft?
No. But if he signed this deal, if he didn't veto it, then he might have gotten a primary challenge. That's certainly possible, and he would have deserved it. You know what? Here's one idea. Look, if you don't want to put in the fight, if you want to continue to play the inside game that previous Republican governors played and got played by Madigan, and led us down this path one generation after another to the worst governed state in the history of America, if you don't want to, then walk away. Because I'll tell you what, he could resign. He could take that superstar lieutenant governor of his, in quotation marks, Evelyn Sanguinetti. If they both resign tomorrow, you know who's governor? Lisa Madigan. Then you could have a Madigan on the front end and a Madigan on the back end.
Why not?
Own it.
Why not?
The whole Madigans. Madiganistan, as John Cass coined.
We'll be the wildings beyond the wall. Just let it happen. It happened anyway.
If you don't want to fight, if you don't want to stoke the revolt, then just turn it over. Turn it over to the barbarians. I mean, very sophisticated barbarian.
Would you say that Lisa Madigan is a barbarianista?
No. We share the same law school alma mater. The two Madigans and I.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice? Yeah.
Nice.
So we're all super well educated. So here's the thing. Just to name names before you hear from some of these surrender Republicans. And you got to hear from Lou Lang. The 15 House Republicans who voted for these huge tax hikes, which, if the governor's veto is overridden, it will be at the hands of these 15 Republicans. Madigan needs these Republicans. Doesn't happen without them. 15 House Republicans: Steve Anderson, Terry Bryan, Frank Cavaletto, C.D. Davidsmeyer, Mike Fortner, Noreen Hammond, David Harris, Chad Hayes, Sarah Jimenez, Charlie Meyer, Bill Mitchell, Reggie Phillips, Bob Pritchard, Dave Rice, Mike Eunice. And they gave cover to all the suburban Democrats who are targets, who the Republicans will never be the majority party in the state again if they're not the party of the suburbs, and if they don't displace the suburban Democrats who are pretending to be independent of Madigan and now have more ammo to pretend better.
Laughing jesters. I found the pictures or images on, from the Renaissance. Laughing, hideous, stupid, foolish jesters.
Steve Anderson.
What they've done, what this Anderson has done. Oh, Steve, by the way, my name's John Cass. When you get a call and you say you can't answer me, I'm telling you right now, to all 15 of you, the easiest thing for me is when I call you to find out why you caved and how you played it, and all, talking about Mother Teresa and all that nonsense. When you say I can't, he's not available, guess what? It makes it easier for me, just so you know. Okay.
Steve Anderson, a Republican from Geneva, who was the de facto governor during this process because of Rauner's abdication, he organized the 15 right under the nose of the minority leader, Jim Durkin. There's this now what should be an iconic picture. When it passed the House, massive tax increases. Here's what it is, by the way. Individual income tax up 32%. Corporate income tax up 35%. There's a...
Is there a the housing... Isn't there a break on the interest on
which?
On your home.
It's
a federal break, but is there a state?
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's affected. Satellite TV 5%. The 9/11 fees are increasing for phone lines. What else do we have? Qualified education expenses.
Mm-hmm.
I posted a good write-up from a CPA named Norman Weir, who essentially susses out some of the details. But, of course, the headlines are personal and corporate income tax hikes, massive. So Anderson, this photo, that passes the House with 15 Republicans that are enemies inside the perimeter.
That's Anderson of
Steve Anderson
of
Geneva.
Yeah,
nice job, King County. Raising his hands in victory. This is a victory. Meanwhile, Jim Durkin, who's allegedly the House Republican leader, by the way, leader, when it's used in a Republican context in the state, understand that's just a title. That is not a quality they're supposed to exhibit.
Yeah, but you know what? If you have a governor and a governor's staff, the way they've played this thing out, the staff of the governor.
Terribly.
And the governor, I don't know what you're supposed to lead. If you don't have to me, the leadership comes from the top. And if you don't have the leadership to give Durkin and whoever will be in Brady now in the Senate, give them leverage, you have nothing.
Yeah, but when you have Brady, Bill Brady, 3-time candidate for governor and state senator from Bloomington for 2 decades, you have him pushing. He was pushing the grand, quote unquote, grand bargain, which was just a varietal of this for the last 2 months. So you have the leadership, again, title only, of the party pushing this unholy deal. Durkin, how does Durkin allow this to happen?
He's in the House.
Yeah, I do.
Brady's in the Senate.
Well, I understand, but right. But how does Durkin allow 15 Republicans to break like they broke? I mean, ultimately, if you want to talk about leadership, you got to look at caucus leaders too.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was, I got a text from a rep who said, Durkin, told the caucus he doesn't want anybody speaking up for this tax hike on the House floor during debate. Almost all of them who voted for it spoke up. He has no juice. And the picture is Anderson raising his hands with his caucus leader, with his hands akimbo, looking befuddled. Boy, that picture is worth 1,000 words in terms of Republican Party politics in this state and why we have the state we have. Listen to these guys. Here's Mike Eunice from Peoria justifying his vote for the tax hike.
Now, I know that by voting for this, there's going to be threats, there's going to be bullying tactics. They're already happening because the fact of the matter is both sides have extreme fringe groups that don't always tell the truth, believe it or not. And both sides are doing that. And there's no trust in this place. This environment, all we have is a very toxic environment with political gotchas. It's got to end. It has to stop.
The courage to raise taxes. You just heard that from Mike Eunice.
Just don't be a bully.
If you're not for this, you're an extremist.
And you're a bully, too.
By the way, what you were talking about, John, I just got a text on this. You're talking about the phase-outs for higher income earners that's also included in this.
Yeah.
The phase-outs of personal exemptions, tax credits for education, property taxes, which makes the tax code, it's a kind of backdoor way to make the state tax code progressive. So that's an important point,
Here's the thing, Dan. Why is it that the middle class ends up paying higher taxes to cover a Democratic deal for pensions? Basically, that's what it is. We're covering their deal that they made with Republican combine boards.
And with the public sector union support.
And the union support. So in other words, I'm a Democrat. I'm going to give you this pension deal. You're going to support me. And I could use that leverage and political juice to make a fortune for myself. And guess what? Everybody else is going to pay for it. Where is that fair? Damn you. Where is that fair?
Listen to Mary Flowers, the Democrat rep from Chicago since 1818.
I don't want to tax business people. I don't want to tax the working homeowner. I don't want to tax the poor. I want to tax people who are not paying their fair share of transaction taxes. So please join me and vote yes, and please come back later. Let's break bread, and let's have a discussion on the financial transaction
Who wrote that
tax.
for?
Thank you very much.
Who wrote that for? Greg
Karen
Harris
Lewis?
or Steve Brown?
Well,
Who
take this in, though. Mary Flowers is saying, I don't want to tax all the people that this tax increases taxes on, number one. She spends her time in House floor debate on these massive tax increases, not talking about those. Those are already built in. She's on to the next new tax on financial transactions because, we want to get the Merck and the Board of Trade and all the insurance companies and financial services companies that radiate around those exchanges in Chicago. We want them out of here, too. I mean, do you think they get it? You think now they're going to reform? Look, I just need $5.5 billion. Just $5.5 billion. Then I'm going to get my life turned around. I'm going to get straight. I promise. This time I mean it. I mean, are you kidding? And will the Illinois electorate fall for it again? Will they reward those 15 Republicans in the House and Dale Ryder in the Senate?
Are there even enough people out there who could vote to do? Have we passed the tipping point, Dan?
No.
Have we passed the tipping point where everyone's just going to curl up in a fetal position and say, basically, Mike Madigan and the surrender monkey Republicans kick me again and again and again?
Well, maybe we've passed the point.
Maybe we are.
Maybe we've passed the point in terms of mentality, in terms of our fatalism, but we haven't passed the point in terms of aggregate numbers. It's 5%, 10% of the population that is on the inside and 90% on the outside financing everything and getting very little in return. This is why I say Rauner has to stoke the revolt. Instead, he's tried to play this inside game, and he's done a great job of getting hit by traffic going every direction and eliminating potential constituencies in the process.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Keith Peters in for Lou Dobbs. 2 state governments are returning to business as usual. Wall Street gets back to work today, and a pipeline drama again. Those stories next.
Are you a responsible person who finds yourself growing deeper and deeper in credit card debt and you're not sure how to fix the problem? Then get ready for a toll-free number that will put you on a path to financial recovery. Trinity Debt Management is a nonprofit organization that will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, and reduce your interest rates by as much as 60%. You'll save thousands and become debt-free for keeps. It's not a loan. It's a smart way to relieve your stress, meet your obligations, and preserve your self-respect. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Gather up your bills and call this toll-free number for a free, no-obligation debt analysis. 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976. If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
Budget impasses, which prompted partial government shutdowns in New Jersey and Maine, have been resolved. Non-essential services had been suspended in recent days, but lawmakers broke those logjams right before the July 4th holiday. Illinois, in danger of reaching junk status with the financial community, is still facing standoffs between Democrats in Springfield and the state's GOP governor. As Wall Street gets back to work today after the Independence Day holiday, we're awaiting on tap including a weekly update on discount store sales, plus a report on mortgage rates nationwide. The battle over the Dakota Access Pipeline appears to be dragging on again. Court action slated for this fall is not expected to shut it down. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. I'm Keith Peters for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Message and data rates may apply. Please don't text while driving.
Did you know your organization's logo can do far more than you think?
Your logo carried my clothes to the gym.
Your logo kept my coffee warm all morning. Your logo charged my phone last night.
When the highly trained team at 4imprint put your logo on things people actually use, you'll be amazed at how powerful your logo can be. Not only will we unleash the full power of your logo, we'll show you the top 3 promotional items for driving new customers absolutely free. Text TEAM to 642-642 now. Every time your customers enjoy one of our promotional items with your logo, they'll think of you. Plus, with free art assistance, we'll make every item look fantastic for a great price. Satisfaction guaranteed.
Your logo keeps my laptop safe.
Your logo keeps me dry. Attract new customers, reward employees, and make a lasting impression. Discover the top 3 promotional items for free. Text TEAM to 642-642. That's TEAM to 642-642.
According to the forecast, it's going to be a long, hot summer. Russian collusion, James Comey,
obstruction of justice, impeachment, White House leaks, Jeff Sessions, climate change, Islamic terrorism, Vladimir Putin.
Join AM 560's Joe Walsh for a very special event on Tuesday, August 22nd. It's the Summer of Trump, live at the Bolingbrook Golf Club, hosted by Joe Walsh and featuring Hugh Hewitt and Guy Benson. Tickets are available now at 560theanswer.com/summer. That's 560theanswer.com/summer. It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
He's about to head overseas again. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. It'll be his second foreign trip. President Trump about to take off and go to Poland.
Will they differ on the one issue that matters most, and that is Russia? Poland, of course, very wary of Russia. It wants President Trump to really reconfirm his commitment to NATO, especially the alliance's military buildup in Eastern Europe, where right now there are about 1,000 U.S. troops.
Fox's Kristen Fisher in Warsaw. President Trump will have his first face-to-face meeting with Russian President Putin on Friday at a G20 summit of world leaders in Germany. The president tweeted before he left, the U.S. has made some of the worst trade deals in world history. And then he wrote, trade between China and North Korea grew almost 40% in the first quarter. So much for China working with us. This after North Korea test launched its longest range missile yet, condemned by the U.S. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, U.S. Pacific Command says the missile flew for nearly 40 minutes and reached a height of 1,500 miles, leading experts to conclude it could have reached a target 4,000 miles away, putting Alaska in its crosshairs. U.S. Ambassador to Australia James Caruso says President Trump wants to further isolate Pyongyang.
By doing these nuclear tests and launching these missiles, there are consequences.
Secretary of State Rex Tillerson vowing the U.S. would never accept a nuclear-armed North Korea. The UN Security Council meets this afternoon to discuss how to deal with North Korea, already one of the most sanctioned countries on the planet. Dave.
Rachel, a New York City police officer's dead, ambushed after midnight.
So this is an absolutely unprovoked attack.
Police Commissioner James O'Neill says Mia Sota's familia was shot in the head as she sat in a police command vehicle in the Bronx.
She was a 12-year veteran of the NYPD and assigned to the 46th precinct. According to police, due to gang problems in the area, the command vehicle had actually been parked at the location since March.
Melissa Edazadi with Fox 5 TV. Cops found the suspect about a block away with a gun. He was shot and killed. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Clouds and sun, 71 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage Warranty. A violent, long July 4th weekend, 62 shot across the city between Friday and last night. At least 8 of those victims have died. Chicago police coming off a busy 4th as well as they perform raids across the city to try and crack down on violence. Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson said the preemptive strikes were part of a wider effort to take repeat drug and gun offenders off the streets.
These missions are an important piece of that strategy. By sending a message to those who serve as a catalyst to the violence that we will come after you before you can inflict more harm in our communities.
Officers arrested 58 on gun and drug charges. One man is dead after being struck in the face by a firework on Chicago's southwest side. The incident happened last night in the 2500 block of West 54th when a firework was shot into the air. The victim was hospitalized for a time at Holy Cross Hospital, where he later died. A package of legislation aimed at ending Illinois' 2-year budget standoff is back to the House. House convening later today to face action to try and override Republican Governor Bruce Rauner's veto of a $36 billion no-cut budget, fueled by a $5 billion increase in your income taxes. The legislation bounced several times on Tuesday, the Senate approving the budget plan, Rauner vetoing it 3 hours later, then the Senate wasting no time in assembling the override and then sending the legislation to the House for consideration as well. By the way, House Speaker Mike Madigan announcing after the Senate action there would not be a House vote yesterday, but wouldn't say why. Only 54 members answered the House quorum call yesterday that prohibited lawmakers from taking any action. Chicago sports, Rays build a 6-1 lead and hang on to beat the Cubs 6-5 at Wrigley Field. Frank Barreto homered in the bottom of the ninth inning, giving the A's a 7-6 win over the White Sox. Big soccer news, Barcelona says Lionel Messi will extend his contract through 2021. The news is a service of Napa Auto Parts. It's that time of year when a scorching hot day can pop out of nowhere. So the folks at Napa would like to remind you that if you can fry an egg on the sidewalk, you can also fry your car battery. Head to Napa, where they'll keep your car running longer, stronger. That is Napa know-how. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next. on AM 560.
Change in the market shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. In fact, since World War II, we've seen a correction on average about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital Management developed proprietary tools that help them to see what's beyond your investment horizon. Like an experienced ship captain uses tools to avoid stormy weather, Arlington Capital Management uses tools to guide you through market corrections before it's too late and help us decide when to capitalize on opportunity. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 to learn how their active management systems can help you. Each day, they actively explore the market, our economy, and all the variables that affect your investments. Stormy markets never cloud their vision. The professionals at Arlington Capital Management use their tools and experience to guide them. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 for a financial review. The number again is 855-471-5796 or learn more at arlington-capital.com.
With Quicken Loans, our simple process helps you understand all the details so you can be confident that you're getting the right mortgage. Call 800-QUICKEN or go completely online with Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.23%. Call 800-QUICKEN or get started online at rocketmortgage.com. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Home isn't just a place. It's a feeling. Whether you're at home, your business, or online, ADT helps keep you safe. With security systems, home automation, alarms, and surveillance. So you can feel at home, wherever you are. Go to ADT.com to get that feeling. ADT. Home. Safe home.
7:06. A check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Alverde.
Thanks, Mike. Let's start in northwest Indiana. 894, or rather 8094 westbound, that's jammed between 65 and Burr for an accident as the right lane blocked. That's involving a car and a semi. On the Edens inbound, 21 from Lake Cook to Montrose, slows a bit from Foster to Montrose, no outbound delays. Kennedy in is 26, O'Hare to downtown, about the same back out to the airport. Eisenhower inbound, 35 from Thorndale to the post office, 33 back out to Thorndale, outbound to Manheim, a 19-minute trip. On the Stevenson, that's heavy, inbound 47 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, 40 on the outbound side. 55 traffic's moving well both ways. Dan Ryan inbound tightens up in a couple of spots, 24 minutes from 95th to downtown. Outbound is still fine. 57 and Bishop Ford look good, no delays on Lakeshore Drive. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verity on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, sun and some clouds, high 86. Tonight, patchy clouds, low 66. Hot day tomorrow with partial sunshine, high 91, and a strong late-night thunderstorm tomorrow night, a low of 70. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
71 at O'Hare. It is 70 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next with Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass sitting in for Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy is the equally leggy blonde Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass. And, John, you have to turn on your mic so the good people can hear you.
Hello, Dan.
There you
How
go.
are you?
Yeah, well, boy, that's a little Melania.
Is it kind of like I was going for Kathleen Turner, but yeah. But, you know.
A voice so husky it could pull a dog sled.
Before. I'm saying, body heat Kathleen Turner.
Yeah, no.
Not
before Kathleen Turner ate Kathleen Turner. Yes. Now, I know what you're saying. So we need to continue our discussion of the state budget because you need to hear more from some of these noblemen and magistrates in Springfield that you vote for, and then many of you pay no attention to until the system completely seizes up or the Ponzi schemes start throwing off some real losses that you start to feel. We didn't know
when it falls apart. It's like, but no one told us.
Now, before I talk about the surrender Republicans again, and you hear from them and how morally indignant they are about, lying to you, just say this. I watched most of the floor debate on Sunday night on this in the House. And you're going to hear from the bad actors. You're going to hear from those who are enthusiastic about surrendering to Mike Madigan, about running the same scam on you that's been run for the last 40 years, which is why we have the worst governed state in the history of America. But there were great speeches, impassioned speeches, fact-intensive speeches on the House floor from many Republican reps, too. Jeannie Ives and Mark Batnick and Alan Skillicorn and Tom Morrison and Peter Breen come to mind. I'm sure I'm missing some others. So it was 15 Republicans that voted for this. It was 36 who did not. So it's not all one, but having, a third of rough numbers, a third of your caucus vote for this, you got a real internal problem you got to solve. And maybe Governor Rauner is more sensitive to that reality than he was prior to this. Here's David Harris from Arlington Heights, who's been there 2 decades, but he doesn't want to preside over the financial destruction of Illinois.
Let me tell you something very clearly. I was not elected as a state legislator to help preside over the financial destruction of this great state. I respect my colleagues who are voting no, but to me, enough is enough.
Well, here's the thing.
Kick that can.
Republican David Harris. Here's the thing. By the way, the applause was from Democrats. Republican David Harris from Arlington Heights. He can yell as much as he wants because that's what he does. That's his, kind of high hat. That's his version of it. I don't respect you, and no one should. And the people in northwest suburban Cook County who elected you should be ashamed of themselves. I hope you're waking up to the reality of this individual being a longtime enemy inside the perimeter who needs to go. And he's up for another job, so I hope he gets it. He's up for another sinecure so that he can, lard on.
How many pensions then?
Yeah, right. So he can lard on to what he's already going to get out of your pocket. That's the problem with the Republican Party. In just one example, there are many, but he's a great encapsulation of the surrender Republican mentality and being rather dismissive of you in the process. Now, on the flip side, you are not going to hear from a more smarmy, oleaginous politician in your life than Lou Lang, who's been there 30 years. And he doesn't want to preside over the destruction of Illinois either. And who do you represent? Here's the only guy who can out-foe morally, can heap more moral scorn on you while raising your taxes than David Harris, Lou Lang.
And you have to ask yourself, who are you here representing?
Jimmy DeLeo, right, Lou?
Are you here representing your political party?
Casino interests.
Right.
Your governor? Your campaign donors? Your friends? Your leaders? Facebook think tanks that don't do much thinking? Or do you represent everyone in the state of Illinois?
Yeah, Illinois Policy Institute shot.
Our titles are state representatives. I heard a bunch of people talk about their constituents. Your responsibilities go way beyond your own constituents. For I represent the constituents of the lady from Wheaton, and she represents mine.
Let me tell you, Lou Lang from Skokie, you come over to Wheaton, my hometown, try and represent our interests, I'll bury you in Northside Park.
In that nice Lexus that he rents.
For more
Like
on
that
this,
car,
more
that
on
Lexus.
more on this topic and what's to come next, as the Senate has already overridden the governor's veto and the House is poised to do it, or are they? Will Madigan call the override vote? Because there's two political schools of thought, and remember, this is all politics because the Illinois Royals treat your lives and livelihoods as a game. You're a game to them. And if you don't understand that, then you're not paying attention. But for more on this topic and what's happening on the ground in Springfield, we're pleased to be joined by our friend Chris Kiergaard, who's a political reporter for the Journal-Star in Peoria. And once upon a time, he was growing a beard until Illinois passed a constitutionally balanced budget. He gave that up because he was starting to shame ZZ Top with how long his beard had become. Chris, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Happy to be there, Dan.
So does Madigan call the override vote today or tomorrow to confirm this tax hike and override the governor's veto?
What we're hearing now is that it's going to be tomorrow. The question in a lot of people's minds is what kind of game is he playing, delaying it until Thursday after telling everyone and letting everyone believe that there's a huge sense of urgency in getting it done by the time the bond markets open today, and by the time the bond rating agencies today have the ability to downgrade Illinois to what would be a well-deserved junk status. What kind of game is he playing waiting until Thursday? Has he so lost control of his own membership that he can't get enough people down there on a holiday when they were already supposed to be in session, let alone the day after a holiday today for an override vote? There has to be more to it than that.
So it's possible that he wants the downgrade to just put that much more pressure and to make the override that much easier.
It's possible he wants it for that. It's also possible he wants it so that he can still try to pin on the governor that governor junk label, especially given that what Governor Rauner gets out of this entire affair is he gets some pressure taken off with the outward appearance of the problem taken away, at least for the foreseeable future. But by vetoing the tax increase, he still gets to run against the tax increase. He still gets to call it the Mike Madigan tax increase, never mind that he managed to lose, and make no mistake, he lost them a third of the Republican caucus in the House.
Yeah.
What's the fallout for those 15 Republicans who basically gave cover for the 8?
And don't forget about Mr. 16, Dale Ryder in the Senate.
Yeah. What's the fallout for that?
I think a lot of that depends on a case-by-case basis. We have folks like Mike Eunice down in the Peoria area here who represent what's fundamentally a Republican district. A Democratic district down in Fulton County. A lot of public aid down there. A lot of need for social services.
Is that where Mother Teresa is?
Yeah. He invoked Mother Teresa in his impassioned floor speech. Boy, he breathes some rarefied air, does Mike Eunice.
They all certainly do when they're coming down to a vote like this. He also sits on $500,000 worth of campaign funds already. So if there's going to be a primary challenge to him, it's going to have to be a very well-funded one. Interestingly, the only person who's running against him so far, he's getting a challenge from the left. He's got a Democrat who's announcing tomorrow she's running against him. Apparently, he's not liberal enough.
Well, yeah. There's a lot of decisions to be made in the coming months, as you know, Chris, about who is and is not going to get primaried. And this may beat some people out of the brushes that otherwise wouldn't have considered running for legislative office, but may now in particular districts once they're informed about just exactly what their legislators are doing. And as you know, I'm in my private life as private citizen, Dan Proft, I'm very interested in this as well.
Right, and the one thing any of those folks is going to have to answer is, all right, how do you handle getting the money otherwise? Nobody, well, I won't say nobody because there was some cheering on the Democratic side for raising the taxes, and a lot of people have wanted it for years, but few people really look and say, oh, good, a tax increase, that feels great. What anybody running a primary has to answer is, all right, what else are you going to cut to get that $5 billion, 4.5 from the individual income tax, and another $500 million from the corporate income tax? What other cuts are you going to make to get there?
Now, just going back to Madigan and his calculation, since this is the great intrigue, is there any thought that he may not call the override veto? He may use, especially if for whatever reason you have some of those Republicans who voted for it peel off under pressure, that he may say, look, I passed a bipartisan budget and the governor vetoed it. So if he doesn't like mine, then he can come up with his own. And, oh, by the way, you got a month till school start.
It's possible he does that, but that raises the stakes to a whole new level. And I'm also not convinced that you get Republicans peeling off at this point. Those 15 are already likely to be viewed as traitors by a number of people in the Republican Party.
Right.
Do they really want to offend people on the left or in the center who are low-information voters by also getting the flip-flopper label on top of that, or a re-flip-flopper label?
Now, one other aspect, that's a fair point. Now, one other aspect of this that has been underreported because, everybody focuses on the political gamesmanship between the principals, is school funding as a part of this, and how Madigan, House Democrats, tied in Senate Bill 1, which is, this is my description, a huge transfer of school funding away from suburban school districts to bail out Chicago and also to sprinkle the infield downstate. So this veto override would include that school funding component, right? Right.
They did this is the challenge of Mike Madigan is the way he plays three-dimensional chess on issues like this. He included in there essentially a requirement that Senate Bill 1 be signed in order for any education funding to go into effect. Now, you've also got the challenge for Bruce Rauner that he went ahead and let it be known that 90% of Senate Bill 1 he could live with, and a lot of people look at that and say, well, why can't you take the victory on the 90% and deal with the rest?
All right, he is Chris Karregard, political reporter for the Peoria State Journal, for the Peoria Journal-Star, and former budget beard guy. What other signs of protest or encouragement are you going to come up with respect to your physical appearance to try and improve the state?
Oh, that last carnival act was plenty for me this time.
Okay, all right. Thanks for joining us, Chris. Appreciate it.
See you, Chris.
Thanks, Tim.
And he joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Here's the weather. High of 86 today, partial sunshine, and tonight, patchy clouds with a low of 66. Also, tonight, Portland and Chicago fire. In Portland, watch it. And tomorrow, hot with partial sunshine. A strong thunderstorm at night. I think I will water my tomatoes in the morning and then pray.
Somewhere John Coleman is smiling after that weather read.
And now we're going to have traffic. So traffic, man, come rescue me before I jump over and grab Dan by the throat.
Well, thanks, John. Dan, right now on 8094 westbound is jammed up between 65 and Burr. Got an accident involving a car and a semi, and that's got the right lane taken out. On the Edens, no delays either direction, 19 in or out from Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction. Kennedy N25, O'Hare to downtown. Inbound at Kimball, an accident blocking the right lane. Back out also 25 to O'Hare. Eisenhower in is 33, Thorndale to the post office, about the same back out to Thorndale. Stevenson inbound is heavy, 51 from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound just a 36-minute trip. No delays on 55 itself. The Dan Ryan inbound slows from the Stevenson to the Circle, about 20 in from 95th to downtown. Outbound's in good shape. 57 to Bishop Ford moving well, no delays on Lakeshore Drive. Tri-State northbound slows from Archer to the Hinsdale Oasis, again from the Reagan to about North Avenue. I'm Al Verdi in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
You love your pet, and they love you. They trust you to care and watch over them. So when they get sick, take the pet out of Petrified and bring them to Merrick Animal Hospital. Merrick is the place of the fear-free vet visit. Dr. Hosek and his staff strive to make your pet's exam as stress-free as possible. They use calming pheromones, tasty treats, and sedation as needed. And for the feline owner, they have a cats-only exam room. Merrick Animal Hospital is on Ogden Avenue in Brookfield, 1 mile east of LaGrange Road, serving the community for over 80 years. Don't miss your chance to meet the doctors, staff, local pet businesses, and veterinary product companies at a block party, Saturday, July 22nd from 1 to 5. There's free food, raffles, bounce house, and face painting for the kids. Well-behaved pets are welcome. For a limited time, new clients get your first exam free, a $49 value. Call 708-485-6500, 708-485-6500, or visit brookfieldvets.com. That's brookfieldvets.com.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-900-1904. That's 1-800-900-1904. 1-800-900-1904.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from television host and 3-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we are about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-725-1616 now and you'll receive a free copy of Josh Melberg's book, Next Gen Annuity Strategies Revealed. As a bonus, we'll also send you a copy of The #1 Mistakes Retirees Are Making with Their Investments Today and a free DVD on how you can get up to 33% more income in retirement. Call 800-725-1616. That's 800-725-1616. Employees of J.D. Melberg Financial have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer.
Message and data rates may apply.
Does forgetting your password make your blood boil? If technology is supposed to make life easier, then why is it so difficult to log into apps and websites? We're about to simplify your life now by giving you free access to Dashlane, the award-winning app that remembers and protects all of your passwords, making it easy to securely access all of your accounts. Get Dashlane free for life on your favorite device right now by texting PASS to 543-543. Dashlane makes life online blissfully simple, safe, and secure. Trusted by over 7 million users and 6,000 companies. Top-rated in functionality, security, and ease of use. Honored with over 70,000 5-star ratings. Dashlane, where passwords are never lost, never forgotten, and always secure. Unlock free access to Dashlane for life on your favorite device right now by texting PASS to 543-543. After texting, please enjoy a sigh of relief. That's PASS to 543-543.
If your roof is needy, if your roof is leaky,
call Grumweedy.
If your roof isn't right after it's storming and shingles are curly,
call Grumweedy.
If your roof is looking needy, call Crumweedy. This is Mark Olson of Crumweedy.
And I'm Greg Olson from Crumweedy. We are a third-generation family-run business. We've been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953.
You really can't do that unless you do really amazing roofs. We share the same conservative values as you, and we really want to do your roof. Here's what you can expect.
First, no high pressure. You make the choice. Whatever option you choose, count on getting a roof that lasts at a fair price.
You see, application is really the key. We follow the manufacturer's specifications so your warranty is intact. You know, a lot of companies don't do that, and that could really void your warranty.
No horror stories here. The roof you need that will fix your problems. When your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy.
For your needy roof, go to myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Bob Aument, a founding partner of the law firm of Dassman & Aument and longtime personal customer of Signature Bank. Our firm recently left one of the larger banks to bank with Signature Bank, and it's been a refreshing change. With Signature Bank, we've been able to tailor banking solutions that fit the specific needs of our firm. Beyond that, Signature Bank is responsive, efficient, and timely in meeting those needs. If I have a request, I pick up the phone and talk to Mick O'Rourke, not someone at a phone bank thousands of miles away. Dassman & Aument needed more than what the larger banks offer, and we found that with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and John Cass in for Amy. And John, let me ask you a question. Do the principles autonomy, strength, and solidarity appeal to you?
Autonomy, strength, and solidarity?
Yeah, do those appeal to you?
Yes, very much so.
Well, good. Then I have a gym for you, and I'll explain it to you when Steve Moore joins us at 7:37. But now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Partly sunny skies, 72 degrees at 7:31 in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage Warranty. July 4th weekend across the city of Chicago was a violent one. 62 were shot. At least 8 of those victims died. Chicago police also coming off a busy 4th due to a crackdown, raids across the city of Chicago. 58 were arrested by Chicago police on gun and drug charges. President Trump is headed to Poland, where he'll make a major address to European countries today in Warsaw. Trump will be joining a conference of Central European and Baltic nations and will be given a warm welcome in that country. On Friday, the president will meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin during the G20 summit in Hamburg, Germany. The U.S. and South Korea sending major warnings to North Korea. American and South Korean military forces holding joint ballistic missile testing after North Korea conducted their own missile test. An NYPD officer is dead, shot in an ambush attack in the Bronx. New York Police Commissioner James O'Neill saying it was an unprovoked attack. The 12-year veteran was shot and died 12 hours later. The gunman shot and killed by police. One Chicago man is dead, struck in the face by a firework on the southwest side of the city. The incident happened last night. The victim first hospitalized at Holy Cross Hospital, where he later died. A package of legislation aimed at ending a 2-year Illinois budget standoff is back to the House. House convening later today to face action to try and override Republican Governor Bruce Rauner's veto of a $36 billion budget package fueled by a $5 billion increase in your income taxes. North suburban Vernon Hills could raise the age for buying tobacco. City officials will vote later tonight on an ordinance that would ban retailers in the village from selling tobacco to anyone younger than the age of 21. The Illinois General Assembly has voted to name a portion of I-55 for a former president. The joint resolution passed the General Assembly to designate an 80-mile stretch of I-55 between the tri-state and mile marker 202 near Pontiac as the Barack Obama Presidential Expressway. And a record-setting marathon hockey game is over, and it was all for a good cause. 11 days after the puck dropped, the 11-day power play came to an end this week in Buffalo, New York, raising $1 million for cancer research. The game began at 9 p.m. on June 22nd and wrapped up at 8 a.m. on Monday. Rays build a 6-1 lead and hold on to beat the Cubs 6-5 at Wrigley. Franklin Barreto homered in the bottom of the ninth, giving the A's a 7-6 win over the White Sox. The news service of Napa Auto Parts this month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. The Napa Bucket for $3.99 is back. Not only will you get 20% off 3 or more items you can fit inside, but they'll also donate $1 to the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund with purchase. While supplies last, exclusions do apply. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Right now with Galaxy. Buy one cabinet, get one free. Visit us online at GalaxyHome.com to schedule your free in-home estimate. Save an additional $500 when you book right now.
Sheet metal is a big part of commercial and industrial facilities. Look around your business and you'll quickly notice how many components use sheet metal. From fan systems and hoods to machinery guards and much more. For top quality sheet metal work, get to know the pros at Vans Industrial.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. Vans Industrial is an industrial sheet metal contractor that can fabricate all types of alloys up to 1-inch plate. We perform jobs including chutes, hoppers, stacks, siding, and dust collection. We work in material handling facilities including steel, chemical, agricultural, food processing plants, and more. Vans Industrial can also design and perform the engineering for a complete turnkey installation. Our quality work is installed by trained mechanics who will work closely with you to make sure the job is done right.
Call 219-931-4881 for a free inspection of your facility. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS Industrial.com. Quality craftsmanship since 1964.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
7:37 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Alverde.
Thanks, Mike. Let's start with Northwest Indiana again. We've still got this accident at Burr. It's on 894 westbound. It's got traffic jammed back to 65. An accident involving a car and a semi, and that's still got the right lane blocked. So be aware if you're headed that way. On the Edens inbound, 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, 21 back out. Outbound slows a little bit between Toohey and Church. The Kennedy inbound is 31, O'Hare to downtown, 26 on the outbound trip. Eisenhower in is 33, Thorndale to the post office, same back out. Stevenson 54 minutes in from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, and 36 back out to 355. Then Dan Ryan 21 into downtown, outbound no delays. Traffic's the service of Anime Midwest. Anime fans are celebrating Anime Midwest this July 7th in Rosemont. 15,000 fans will come together in anime costumes to have a great time. Tickets available at animemidwest.com. Traffic answers when you need the most. I'm Al Verity on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Partial sunshine today, high 86. Currently 71. Our next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next with friend John Cass from the Chicago Tribune filling in for Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
No Victocrats allowed. Why? Because we've got a country to save. Join me, Larry Elder, tonight starting at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan, and in for Amy, John Cass. John,
Hey, Dan, thanks for shaving.
You're welcome. I know you like me clean shaven. You know what I mean? The principles of...
You know what?
What? Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, just skip it.
You want to think about that?
I want to not think.
We are doing this show cheek to cheek,
Yeah.
for those not watching online. Autonomy, strength, and solidarity. Who could argue with those principles? Well, I'm glad that you agree, John, because the Haymaker Gym in quotation marks, is the gym for you. And it is in Chicago to teach fitness and self-defense in this era of Trump repression.
Are we going to have a couple of liberal newscasters showing me how at 90 pounds they could beat the hell out of two truck drivers who are 300 pounds?
Let me...
Because I've seen those videos and those news stories over and over. And
I've seen those episodes of Wonder Woman. Let me expound
Without
on
the
this.
bad Greek accents?
Right.
Oh, my God.
We envision a space where people, regardless of ability, can learn the skills they need to stay safe in Trump's America. We envision a new culture of fitness based on solidarity and mutual aid. We not only want to improve ourselves, but we want to help create a new world along the way. Behold the visionaries behind the Haymaker Gym.
So Haymaker is an autonomous gym that's starting up now in Chicago. The aim is to establish more networks of self-defense.
We're trying to develop self-defense skills in a political climate that's increasingly violent, especially towards marginalized peoples, people who are not in power, the poor, the oppressed.
We're invested in building material force of resistance against the rising nature of fascism in this country and obviously the longer history of white supremacy. And so we're really invested in cultivating the capacities for our bodies to just be stronger, because at the end of the day, it's stronger people harder to kill.
A lot of people think like when you learn how to fight, it's all about being aggressive and like learning how to go start fights with people. That's not what we're about at all. We're here to develop the bodily instincts to be able to react in a situation where we might be put in danger.
We believe that we need to start developing these skills, especially as the violence against us, violence against marginalized peoples is only escalating under Trump, right?
We want this to be an open-facing project. Everybody's welcome except police and people that are affiliated with strong right-wing groups.
We're trying to build a space where people who may not be accepted into the kind of heteronormative, masculine, macho gym culture, and have a space for everyone to be able to learn self-defense skills. It's going to be free, donation-based.
A lot of anti-fascist groups in the U.S. Tend to kind of stay underground, and so we want to make this kind of politics of anti-racism and anti-fascism much more public and much more accessible to the mainstream.
And so, we're a broad, open, public-facing, popular self-defense project.
Yeah, and...
Brilliant theater, isn't it, though? I have to give hats off
you're
to
not
George Soros. And where did you see this?
This is on Indiegogo. They're doing a money raise for this to get this thing off the ground, John. And you're not a police officer or a heteronormative, so you could
heteronormative.
Yeah.
What is that? A man who gets married and stays married for 32 years,
Yeah.
raises kids.
Yeah,
Here's the thing.
fascist.
Where in this little simpering episode do they have the bike lock wrapped in the towel so that the professor, sort of, I guess, a strident, strong-necked female professor of great back muscles can whack you over the head with it if you're opposing her views?
Well, I'll tell you what.
In other words, if you support the Constitution and the First Amendment.
You should go check out the video accompany that audio at Indiegogo because you would see what physical specimens these antifas, the anti-fascist fascists.
I see one guy being interviewed. He's got some chest hair on.
Yeah,
so he hasn't done the wax yet.
They look like the guys who rode the bench in White Shadow. I mean, they'd have to.
They didn't even get a line.
They'd have to work out about a year to get to salami level. But they've got the headbands and they've got the droopy shorts and the droopy socks. And so anyway, I'll tell you what, I got a workout partner for you too.
Great theater, yeah.
I saw him yesterday at the fireworks show that the city puts on.
Yeah, who's that?
It was at the Chicago Yacht Club.
Uh-huh.
Joe Barrios.
Joe and I are kind of similar. We work out the same way.
Yeah.
Cigar, Erie Cafe, steak, and maybe a dessert.
Well, at ChicagoCityWire.com, you can get a picture of Joe Barrios, Cook County Assessor, Chairman of the Cook County Democrat Party. Those two titles are not coincidental. He was at Chicago Yacht Club, and then he got on his, you cannot write this stuff. You cannot write this. God has a sense of humor. Then he left while I was enjoying the time with friends and so forth. He left to get on this massive yacht. I kid you not. Named Good Times.
Good time. Anytime you need a payment. Good time. Anytime you need a free. Good time. Anytime you're out from under. Not getting hassled. Not getting hustled. Keeping your head above water. Making a way when you can. Temporary layoffs. Good time.
Easy credit rip-off.
Good time. Scratching and surviving. Good time. Hanging in a job. Good time.
Be lucky we got Joe Barrios.
Good time.
That was Joe Barrios
I
singing.
need the word picture now, okay, the theater of the mind. Okay, I'm thinking Joe, Bermuda shorts. What do we look like here? What did he have going there?
He had
Cook County Assessor, Joe Barrios.
Yeah, the garb of the Royals.
What?
Gold lame, a crown, a scepter. He's dynamite.
Did he have
Joe
shorts
Barrios.
on with black knee socks?
No.
And sandals.
No, he was Natalie attired.
So slacks and Sansa belt pants.
He had all of his family members that are on the Cook County payroll actually carry him to the yacht and place him safely on the deck.
Nice.
Ralph and Rantoul, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. I don't think there's any danger coming out of this new place because they're never actually going to get around to practicing because I think they'll spend all their time talking about their outfits. And probably I'm thinking somewhere along the lines of that Borat thong mankini thing.
No.
Are you going to the
John
Cass wrestling thing in the hotel room?
You would fill
first
that out.
band started. What?
You could fill out that Borat mankini, man thong.
Listen.
Yeah, whatever that thing is, it's
You've scarred me. You've scarred my mind.
Thanks for the
Sorry,
call.
I could never unthink that.
Thanks for the call, Ralph. And during the break, I want people to think about John Cass and a mankini.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Check out the weather. It's going to be high of 86 with partial sunshine today. Tonight, low of 66 with patchy clouds. And then tomorrow, hot with partial sunshine. A strong thunderstorm at night, high of 91. Oh, and yes, Wednesday night, the Chicago Fire play in Portland. And now traffic.
Even you don't know the name of the Portland soccer team.
Yes, I do.
What is it?
Portland. Traffic, Alverdi.
Thanks, John. Dan, we still have a problem in northwest Indiana on 8094.
Portland Timbers.
Westbound is jammed up between 65 and Burr, where an accident involving a car and a semi has the right lane taken out. On the Edens, the inbound trip, just 21 Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction, 22 on the outbound side. Outbound slide slows a little from 2E to Church. Kennedy in half an hour, O'Hare to downtown. An earlier accident at Kimball has cleared. On the outbound trip, also about half an hour. Eisenhower in 35 from Thorndale to the post office. Add a minute to that to get back out to Thorndale. Stevenson inbound is heavy, 54 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. 36 outbound. No delays on the 55 portion. Dan Ryan inbound is 22 from 95th to downtown. Outbound is fine. 57 Bishop Ford, Lakeshore Drive, all moving at their posted speeds. On the Tri-State, we have a couple of northbound backups. First from Archer to the Hinsdale Oasis, and again from the Reagan to the Grand Avenue Curve. I'm Al Verdi in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
A good parking lot is essential to a good building and a good business.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great. We are an industry leader in seal coating. You can trust our company to do the work for your company. We have the same traditional values as you. We use a process and application that makes sure you get a great job that lasts a long time. I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Go to our website, greatparkinglots.com. Check it out, greatparkinglots.com.
Go to greatparkinglots.com. Schedule a free inspection and get a quote to make your parking lot a great parking lot. Save the expense. Fix, don't replace. Contact SKC Construction now for commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. SKC Construction, home of greatparkinglots.com. greatparkinglots.com.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
My legs were awful.
I always felt uncomfortable and self-conscious.
I had never been real happy about the spider veins in my ankles and my legs.
I started noticing fatigue in my leg.
I was so self-conscious. Then I went to Vein Clinics of America.
It's time to love your legs again. Vein Clinics of America is the oldest, largest, most experienced vein treatment center in the U.S. Using state-of-the-art laser and minimally invasive treatments, they can begin restoring the natural beauty of your legs in as little as 1 hour with no downtime, and most treatments are covered by insurance.
I found the Vein Clinics of America and look at my legs now.
You just feel like, you know what, I want to do so much today. It's such a big difference.
My experience with Vein Clinics of America was amazing.
Make sure your legs look and feel their best for summer. Call now to schedule a free fast-track consultation to find out how you can finally get rid of those embarrassing varicose and spider veins. Call 800-402-0707. 800-402-0707. That's 800-402-0707.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. On the occasion of America's 241st birthday, take a moment to celebrate economist Thomas Sowell's 87th. The latter complements the former. Born in the Jim Crow South in 1930, Sowell's family was without electricity or hot running water. No one in his family had gone beyond the 6th grade. Sowell graduated magna cum laude from Harvard, earned his Ph.D. in economics from the University of Chicago. He then spent the last half-century as one of the most prolific and persuasive economists advancing free minds and free markets in American history. Make some time away from the grill this holiday to peruse Sowell's conflict of visions primer on competing schools of political thought if you haven't. Because other than Milton Friedman, no American economist has better harnessed his intellect to make economics accessible to the everyman. An example of Sowell's succinct summaries? The first lesson of economics is scarcity. There is never enough of anything to satisfy all those who want it. The first lesson of politics is to disregard the first lesson of economics. In his farewell column at the end of 2016, Sowell wrote, "We cannot return to the past, but let us hope we can learn something from the past to make for a better present and future. The more who learn from Sowell's life's work, the better the present and the future will be for America."
Yes, indeed, summertime. Another hot one. Wait, gonna be a little bit cooler today. Back to hot, gonna be windy. Maybe a thunderstorm mixed in for good measure. Up and down and up and down. The climate is always changing. Your company's heating and cooling system really gets a workout in Chicagoland. Be ready for anything this summer. Call Air Comfort and get your business's cooling system tuned up and running at peak performance. You see, the Air Comfort problem solvers can find small problems before they become big problems. Plus, proper maintenance will keep your system from wasting energy and money. Air Comfort will make sure your equipment is clean and obstacle-free. And if your chiller is about to or has stopped working, they can install temporary solutions to keep you cool while the long-term fixes are put in place. The key to keep your climate from changing is preventative maintenance, and Air Comfort can help. Schedule a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system today. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business business since 1935.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance. But they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
Acme Home Insurance.
Yes, I'd like to make a claim.
What are you wanting to claim, sir?
My air conditioner broke down.
Sorry, but your home insurance doesn't cover air conditioner breakdowns.
So what do you cover?
Home damage from things like earthquakes, volcanoes, a zombie apocalypse.
A zombie apocalypse? But that'll never happen.
But if it did, you'd be covered, sir.
But not my air conditioner?
I'm afraid not.
But his air conditioner could have been covered with a home warranty from American Home Shield, plus major components of 20 other home systems and appliances, like his electrical system, plumbing, refrigerator, and more. For valuable free information, call 1-800-700-2119. Homeowners insurance can cover what might happen.
Zombies are coming!
But a home warranty helps cover what will happen.
Now the dryer won't work.
Be sure with the Shield. American Home Shield. For valuable free information, call 1-800-700-2119. That's 1-800-700-2119. 1-800-700-2119.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and John Cass in for Amy. And John, if we could take the music down. I have something very serious to talk about with you.
Yeah.
It's a difficult topic, but it's about prostate health, John.
The Portland Timbers. Okay, I know this. I can't stand the Timbers, and you put me in the thong, and I couldn't think.
Well, we'll
Right,
see
I'm
how
just
you're
saying.
thinking after this. Prostate health. A study of 32,000 men published in the Journal of European Urology, which I know you're a subscriber.
Turn off my headphones right now. I know where you're going.
Researchers found high levels of sexual activity can reduce the risk of contracting prostate cancer by up to 33%. This is Harvard University researchers, John. This is serious business, so I wish you would take it seriously. The optimum number, in terms of sexual activity, the optimum number of ejaculations is 21 per month.
I can't even use that language.
That's 252 times annually. And so, I mean, where do you fall on that continuum? I'm worried about your prostate health, is what I'm trying to say. In a related story, my sex doll is so much better than my real wife. Mazuyuki Ozaki bounced back when the spark went out of his marriage by starting a new romance with a rubber sex doll he swears is the love of his life. I'm sure he's got good prostate health. Ozaki, 45.
Let the record show
My age.
I'm not engaged.
I
am a journalist.
Silent protest. After my wife gave birth, we stopped having sex, and I felt a deep sense of loneliness. But the moment I saw Mayu in the showroom, it was love at first sight. You've had that feeling. About your wife, I mean. But some people have it about rubber sex dolls. My wife was furious when I first brought Mayu home. These days, she puts up with it reluctantly. When my daughter realized it wasn't a giant Barbie doll, she freaked out and said it was gross. But now she's old enough to share Mayu's clothes. You see how it brings the family together? And good prostate health as a kicker?
Everyone who listened to this, please run after the 9 o'clock hour. Go to church immediately. Get some holy water. Put it on you.
You're such a prude.
What? Get some holy water. You know what I'm saying? Say some prayers, okay?
And just remember, also after 9 o'clock, remember the optimum number of ejaculations a month if you're interested in good prostate health.
I'm leaving. Bye.
And now, with that perfect segue, we turn it over to Mike Scott for headlines.
Dan and John, here are the stories we're watching right now. 60 shot in Chicago over the July 4th weekend. Several of those are continuing investigations, according to Chicago police. 2 officers hurt, 1 other person also injured in a Southside crash. Vernon Hills says, yes, they're considering raising the tobacco sales age. Rays hold on to clip the Cubs while the A's walked off the White Sox on a Barreto home run in the 9th inning. We'll also have the very latest developments from Fox News on an overseas trip by President Donald Trump that begins in Poland. Partial sunshine in your forecast today with a high near 86. Weather after Fox News, WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
How will we deal with North Korea? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A reporter shouted that to President Trump before he took off this morning for his second foreign trip, and the president replied, "We'll do very well." Fox's John Decker is live at the White House.
As the president left the White House, he took to Twitter to weigh in on the North Korea crisis, writing, "Trade between China and North Korea grew almost 40% in the first quarter. So much for China working with us, but we had to give it a try." Just a day earlier, the president wrote that China could put a heavy move on Pyongyang to end this nonsense. President Trump lashed out at China ahead of his second presidential trip abroad. His first stop is Poland, and then it's off to the G20 summit in Germany, where he'll have his first face-to-face meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Dave?
John, the UN Security Council will hold an emergency meeting later after Secretary of State Tillerson called for global action, calling North Korea's latest launch a new escalation of the threat.
Not only is it the first missile capable of hitting the Alaskan coast, something President Trump said would never happen, but it was also launched from a mobile launcher, meaning it is almost impossible to track, and we simply wouldn't know how many the North Koreans had or where they might be. The U.S. and South Korean military responded by holding a combined ballistic military drill, firing missiles into the sea off South Korea.
Fox's Benjamin Hall. We're just hearing from the Pentagon. A U.S. soldier has been killed in Afghanistan. It happened Monday in the Helmand province. In New York City, that's police scanner audio via broadcast of why his partner had just been shot after midnight in a police command vehicle.
A man came up who they have identified as 34-year-old Alexander Bonds, confronted them and came up to the car and shot her through the window and ran away. He was then confronted a block away by an NYPD sergeant and police officer. At that time, police say Bonds pulled out a silver revolver, police shooting and killing him.
Melissa Edazadi with Fox 5 TV. The officer died a few hours ago. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Clouds and sunshine at 72 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. The long July 4th holiday continues to be a violent one in Chicago. 62 shot. At least 8 of those victims have died and 2 more are dead, 2 others wounded. Following a shooting on Chicago's far south side, police say the victims were standing in front of a home last night near 109th and Eberhard when several in a black SUV opened fire. 2 men died at the scene, 2 others remain hospitalized in stable condition. Chicago police were busy over the long holiday, the department performing raids across the city to try and crack down on violence.
As part of this initiative, we were able to take 58 people off the street who are part of the drug trade, with 10 of them being previously arrested on gun charges.
Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson. 3 are recovering, including 2 Chicago police officers. After a crash on the south side, authorities say a squad and another vehicle collided last night near 67th and Racine. A package of legislation aimed at ending the 2-year Illinois budget standoff is back to the House. House convening later today to face action to try and override Republican Governor Bruce Rauner's vetoes of a $36 billion budget fueled by a $5 billion increase in your income taxes. Democratic House Speaker Mike Madigan of Chicago announced after the Senate action there wouldn't be a House vote yesterday. Now we know why. Only 54 members answered the House quorum call. That prohibited lawmakers from taking any action yesterday. North suburban Vernon Hills could raise the age for buying tobacco. City officials will vote later tonight on an ordinance raising the age to 21. Rays over the Cubs 6-5. A's with a comeback win over the White Sox, 7-6. The news service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today just $19.99 plus $3 disposal fee. For tires, oil service, and repairs, National Tire and Battery, that's all you need. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Volvo is phasing out combustible car engines. All its new models starting in 2019 will be either fully electric cars or hybrids. Volvo is now owned by a Chinese investment firm. It plans to launch 5 new electric and hybrid cars by the year 2021. Vantiv, the credit card processing company, has a cash deal to purchase British-based electronic payments company WorldPay. JP Morgan Chase also expressed an interest in WorldPay. The Journal says big banks want new technology, either by building it or buying it. Oracle shares are among those to watch today after analysts at KeyBank Capital expressed confidence in Oracle's cloud unit. The analysts say Oracle's cloud business could double within 2 years. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
Thinking of getting engaged to that special person in your life? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I've got the perfect place for you. Visit my friends at Roland's Jewelers, a family-owned jeweler in downtown Libertyville. Roland's Jewelers has a beautiful selection of engagement rings, and they're a direct diamond importer. That means wholesale prices on quality loose diamonds. Roland's is also the perfect place to shop for an anniversary or birthday gift. Roland's offers a large selection from designers like Hearts on Fire, Simon G., John Hardy, and Roberto Coin. Their knowledgeable and friendly staff can show you quality Swiss watches like Tag Heuer, Michel, and Longines. Roland's Jewelers is well known for excellent customer service. These guys are the best, including custom designs and jewelry repairs by their expert craftsmen. Let Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville make all your special occasions memorable. Visit RolandsJewelers.com. It's ROLLANDS, RolandsJewelers.com, or call them 847-918-7300. Roland's, a family-owned jeweler you can trust.
With Quicken Loans, our simple process helps you understand all the details so you can be confident that you're getting the right mortgage. Call 800-QUICKEN or go completely online with Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.23%. Call 800-QUICKEN or get started online at rocketmortgage.com. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Home isn't just a place. It's a feeling that you're safe to enjoy the things that matter most. ADT lets you take that feeling with you. Whether you're at home, your business, or online, we help keep you safe. With security systems, home automation, alarms, and surveillance. So you can feel at home wherever you are. Go to ADT.com to get that feeling for less than $1 a day. ADT. Home. Safe home.
8:07. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Al Verde.
Thanks, Mike. First, in northwest Indiana, 8094 westbound at Burr. An earlier accident involving a car and semi, that is cleared, but traffic is still backed up from 65 as a result. That should be clearing out fairly soon. On the Edens, the inbound trip, just 20 from Lake Cook to Montrose, about the same back out to Lake Cook. Kennedy inbound is getting better, 29 minutes O'Hare to downtown, half hour back out to the airport. Eisenhower in is 36, Thorndale to the post office, and the same back out to Thorndale. Stevenson 52 minutes in, that's a heavy spot from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound no delays. 55 traffic's moving well both ways. Dan Ryan inbound 23 from 95th to downtown. Back down to 95th, things are wide open. 57 and Bishop Ford look good. Lakeshore Drive southbound taps the brakes between 18th and the Stevenson. Also, the outbound Stevenson exit ramp is jammed up. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Sun and some clouds today with a high 86. Patchy clouds for the night, low 66. Partly sunny tomorrow, high 91. Then a strong late night thunderstorm. Otherwise, partly cloudy tomorrow night with a low 70. Clouds and sun for Friday, high 83. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 72. Next news coming up at 8:30. Breaking news as it happens. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, what up, Dan? And in for Amy is Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass this morning. John, President Trump at the Kennedy Center over the weekend, speaking at a Celebrate Freedom rally, which is appropriate given the weekend. And here's what he had to say about the media in those remarks.
The fake media is trying to silence us, but we will not let them. Because the people know the truth. The fake media tried to stop us from going to the White House, but I'm president and they're not.
Oh, boy.
We won and they lost. The fact is, the press has destroyed themselves because they went too far. Instead of being subtle and smart, they used a hatchet. And the people saw it right from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, once he's done with the presidency, he can, challenge Mike Wolf. Michael Wolf for media criticism. But
this is wrestling. This is, on both sides, the CNN nonsense and Trump's nonsense is.
Well, the question is he at least half right, even if he's living in a bit of a glass house, as you suggest? To help us address that question, we're pleased to be joined by award-winning investigative journalist, author of the new book, The Smear: How Shady Political Operatives and Fake News Control What You See, What You Think, and How You Vote. She is Sharyl Attkisson. Sharyl, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it. Do we have Sharyl? Hello, Sharyl.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry, we didn't have you for a second. Thanks so much. So is Trump right in his criticism of the media that they've turned themselves into caricatures of themselves?
Well, in some cases, yes, we have. I mean, I think by announcing we were against him explicitly in some cases and then exempting ourselves publicly from the normal rules of journalism because we said he was so dangerous, we put our own reputations at risk. And some of what's happened, you've seen resulting, which is reporting that is 180 degrees incorrect and false sometimes from some of the most once well-respected news organizations, editorial bias that has crept into what used to be fact-based news reporting. And I think all of that is harmful to our public reputation for sure.
Sharyl, my problem with the media, even though I'm a member of the media, is after the WikiLeaks examination or leaks of the DNC collusion with members of the Beltway media to, the Donna Brazil leaking and so forth, and reporters vetting their stories with Democratic officials, I found that there's never been a come-to-Jesus moment after that to examine it and see the effects. And all we've done as a media culture is jump from that to the attack on Trump, which undercuts the credibility of many journalists who are just trying to, do their job.
Bingo. I mean, I think that's exactly right. I spent a whole chapter in the book reprinting some of these WikiLeaks emails, also some emails between the media and campaign officials as exposed by Freedom of Information Act requests. And I had the same response you did. After Trump was elected, I thought there would be somewhat of a mea culpa and a reexamination on our part in the news media. How did we get it so wrong? How did we miss what was really happening? And so on. And instead, we in the media said we were going to do a reexamination, but instead we doubled down on this behavior. And I think Trump was right when he says that if we had been subtle, I think this was an implication, it might have worked better. In other words, there's plenty of legitimate criticism to make, and I absolutely think powers that be should be held accountable and answer tough questions. But you don't have to go overboard and risk your own credibility by making big mistakes and going too far. Now people won't believe anything we have to say, even when true at times.
And that's the danger for the Republic.
Well, and it's interesting. There was a piece by James Bowman in the New Criterion, the column he writes on the media. And he mentions this discussion he had with a former New York Times reporter and how that outlet operated much differently than previous newspapers that this reporter had worked for. It was very editor-driven, and it was very narrative-driven. So if an idea incubated from the reporter up to the editors, the conversation was about whether that idea and potential story fit the narrative, essentially, that the editors wanted to tell, or it didn't. And it seems to me that philosophy has now bled into other outlets that form kind of the D.C. press corps.
Well, I wrote about this extensively in my book Stonewalled in 2014.
Yes, you did.
That was one of the main reasons I left CBS News ahead of my contract. As I described, managers would develop these little novelettes in their head of what they wanted a story to say and what the interviewee should say. This is not just at CBS. This is at all news organizations, or many of them. And then you would be assigned, instead of bringing the facts, of going out and fulfilling their idea of what a story would be, even if it didn't fit with the truth. So you'd come back as the reporter on the ground and say, I know you said the car was red, or you read that on Associated Press, but the car is blue, and I'm looking at it. And they would say, well, that's all well and good, but make the car red. And if it didn't fit what they wanted the story to say, they would literally say, go find a character to say X, meaning go find someone to interview who will say the following words out of their mouth. And if you didn't fulfill that, which, a lot of times reporters didn't want to, if it wasn't factually correct, you don't want to make people say things, then they didn't want to air the story. And you were seen as, sort of a troublemaker by those people that wanted the narratives fulfilled.
The high concept story where the editors decide what the news should be is definitely a problem. But on the other hand, editors do have to be able to set some sort of, marching orders, something where they're trying, to explain to reporters what story they're looking for, right?
Well,
I think in the, yes, go on, please. I'm interested in what you think.
No, I think that worked very well for years, and the way I worked at CNN, PBS, CBS, local news. I was a kind of reporter, more original and investigative reporting, so I more often than not told them what I found. Mm-hmm. But oftentimes, yes, there'd be, we need to explain topic X, and we need to, and this is perfectly legitimate, we need to explore this facet that hasn't been well done and do it in simple terms. But that's typically what was done for many years, which is what you're describing. I think that's absolutely appropriate. But the micromanaging, that is being described by reporters at news outlets now, and putting words in people's mouth contrary to the facts. When you literally come back from the field, and reporters do this now, or we're doing this when I was at CBS, and say, that's not true, they still want it. And they hate it when you say that, but we would even use those words, because how are they going to then say, put it on TV? But then they find a reason that the story just doesn't fit in the newscast that night.
I'm always interested in standards when we talk about conduct in a particular sector, so you have something to measure how people are behaving professionally or otherwise against something. And so the topic of using anonymous sources, particularly you, Cheryl, as an investigative reporter, I'm sure you are, you come into contact with people who don't want their name disclosed but have valuable information. Can you give us the standard for using anonymous sourcing and how that has changed in the Trump era, if it has changed?
Yes, it's changed. And there's no law, of course. This is all what we decide in our profession. My primary use of anonymous sources is just to get other information. It's not to go on air with, but occasionally you do. But at CBS, what we were told, and I would discuss this with the CBS attorneys, all my stories I wasn't required to, but I ran my investigative stories by our attorneys and discussed them at length. And anonymous sources generally were to be used only if you couldn't find any other way to source somebody. They absolutely couldn't have their name used. And then had to be a good reason, of course. And then you had to explain the reason. In other words, you had at least in a line say that they're affiliated with such and they fear retaliation. And then you had to describe as best you could the position that they held or why they're an authority on the topic without, revealing too much. So anonymous use of sources is supposed to be very rare, well explained, and well justified. Now, as you've seen, not only are we using anonymous sources over and over again, we're using anonymous sources that are proving wrong over and over again, like the ones who said, Comey never told President Trump 3 times he wasn't under investigation. Well, Comey testified he did do that. So, that's just one example of probably a half dozen off the top of my head. And yet these apparently same anonymous sources, or at least the same reporters who turn to them, continue to operate with apparent, impunity.
I'm reminded during that whole episode with CNN and the 3 times Comey didn't say, and he was going to come on and testify that Trump was a liar, and then they had to change their story again. I'm reminded that I wrote a column last week about this. The motivation, I don't want sources to be identified by name, but I think that the public is owed an understanding of the political motivation of the sources. I just think that's critical, particularly when they're intelligence leak sources where, you got to think, where is it coming from, why, and let the people in on the game, because when they're not let in on the game, they tend to lose belief in our credibility.
I think that's part of the responsibility in using an anonymous politically based source in justifying their anonymity and explaining their position. I think that's part of the characterization that ought to be made as much as possible.
But before we let you go, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of recast some advice you gave to people trying to make sense of what's factual and what is not, what is well-sourced and what is not. This is from an interview you gave last week on Fox News Channel. But in terms of advice you have for individuals to separate truth from fiction, or at least well-sourced stories from those that are not.
I hate to say I don't have easy answers, but original sourcing, watching a hearing or news conference yourself is always the best, but who has time to do that? But I do think when you see common narratives and phraseology emerging across platforms and news organizations, when there are literally thousands of stories that could legitimately be covered in a given day, but we're selecting the same 3 or 4, interviewing the same people, using the same phrases, trust your, thinking and think to yourself, someone may be pushing a narrative. And if you read the book, you'll see how this is done. And then ask yourself, not only is it true, perhaps maybe it's not, but what are they trying to deflect from? Because one of the main purposes of narratives is at times to deflect attention from something serious that they don't want you to look at. So I just think asking those questions, and if you're like me, I literally believe almost nothing I hear at first report until I can verify or get more information, because so much of it is proven to be 180 degrees wrong. So I think healthy skepticism is more important than ever.
She is Sharyl Attkisson. She's an investigative journalist and the author of the new book, The Smear, How Shady Political Operatives and Fake News Control What You See, What You Think, and How You Vote. Sharyl, thanks as always for joining us. Good luck with the book.
Thank you for having me.
And she joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Today, it's going to be partly sunny with a high of 86 tonight, low of 66 with some clouds during the Fire game with the Portland Timbers. And then tomorrow, hot with partial sunshine, a strong thunderstorm at night, high of 91. I'm still watering my tomatoes early.
I predict a 0-0 tie between the Fire and the Timbers.
You know what? You're still on bad paper with that other thing, okay? Get some holy water, and then we'll see. Traffic down with Al Verde.
Well, thanks, John. And apparently it's going to be a hot house in the old time tonight. On the Edens, the inbound trip, 21 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, 20 back out to Lake Cook. Kennedy Inn is 28 from O'Hare to downtown, half hour back out to the airport. Eisenhower Inn is 47 from Thorndale to the post office. There it slows from North Avenue to the Tri-State, again from Costner into the Burn interchange. Outbound, no delays at all. Stevenson inbound 48 from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound is just fine, only 34 minutes. 55 good both directions. Dan Ryan in 25 from 95th to downtown. Back down to 95th, just 15 minutes, no delays there. 57 in Bishop Ford are in good shape. Lakeshore Drive southbound slows from 18th to the Stevenson. Southbound Tri-State from Belvedere to Buckley backs up a little bit. Northbound from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis is tight, and again from Reagan to the Grand Avenue curve. I'm Al Verdi in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
All right, I know you're bombarded with MyPillow ads everywhere you turn, not only from me, but on TV, billboards, and in print. But the reason is simple. It's the best pillow available. You deserve a restful and relaxing summer, and the July radio deal using my name, Amy, in the promo code is the best deal available. It's the 50% discount on a MyPillow 4-pack, including 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for half the price. You can move the fill to give you the exact support you need regardless of sleep position. You'll sleep deep and won't wake up to a stiff neck or headache. And our good friend Mike Lindell manufactures them in America using only American labor. You can wash and dry them. They're hypoallergenic, and you get a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. So get your 50% off the 4-pack by calling 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
It's absolutely amazing that the combination of these capsules improves your health. It does tell you the value of food and nutrition.
I actually can feel a difference. I really can.
I love the product. It's wonderful. I can't live without it. It's really helping me. Every time I take it, my body says, thank you.
This is the first winter that I went through that I didn't get a cold.
I love my fruits and veggies. I'm a line dancer, and I just turned 78, and it has made a big difference in my stamina and just my overall well-being, and I have so enjoyed them. I just love taking them and what they do for me.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Dave Geiselhart, president and owner of Home Trust Mortgage and customer of Signature Bank. When the large banks turned away from the mortgage lending industry during the financial crisis, I turned to locally owned Signature Bank. Signature Bank stepped in and helped me expand our business at a time when the larger banks wouldn't. Today, I'm proud to say Home Trust Mortgage has been able to expand our business in Illinois and the Great Lakes region. We couldn't have done that without the help of Signature Bank. Signature Bank truly helps Chicago businesses like mine grow and thrive. That's why we also became personal customers and shareholders of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
I hate cleaning my gutters. I kept hearing ads for that gutter guard system, so I thought, why not? I'll get an estimate. I was shocked. I never thought gutter guards could cost so much. Then I heard about Spring Rock gutter guards. The estimate is free, so it made sense to at least compare them. I was shocked again by how much money they saved me. I'm talking thousands, like enough to take my family to Disney World. They take a different approach to gutter protection. A completely closed design keeps all types of debris out of your gutters. Sure, those higher-priced systems may keep the leaves out, but Spring Rock gets the job done at up to half the price with no compromise on quality. Spring Rock also comes with the same lifetime warranty. If the gutter system ever clogs, they will clean it out for free, no questions asked. Same result for less money. That's smart. There's more than one option when it comes to gutter guards. Compare today and save at springrockgutters.com or call 708-571-0632. Special financing is available. Drain your gutters, not your wallet.
Message and data rates may apply.
Have you ever forgotten your password?
With all the accounts you have and all the rules around passwords, remembering every single one is impossible. That's why millions of people are turning to Dashlane, the award-winning app that protects your passwords and creates an easy, secure way to access all of your accounts. And right now, you can get access to Dashlane free for life on your favorite device just by texting SECURE to 543-543. Over 6 million users manage their passwords with Dashlane. Over 6,000 companies trust Dashlane. And over 70,000 reviews give it a 5-star rating. But the only number that really matters? 0. Because that's how many times you'll forget your passwords using Dashlane. With Dashlane, your passwords are never misplaced and never forgotten. Simple, safe, secure. Unlock free access to Dashlane on your favorite device for life right now. Just text SECURE to 543-543. That's SECURE to 543-543.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, John Cass, you're up at the plate for this caller. Look for the Vaseline ball. This guy throws a lot of junk. Gaylord in Montana, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, I appreciate your show.
Thank you.
Calling for Mr. Cass and you all. I found on the Friday, June 16th, page 17 news briefing regarding the 2 Georgia inmates who killed the guards and escaped were later caught in Tennessee. In the brief 3-paragraph news item, the editor conveniently did not include the fact that the 2 escapees were held at bay by one and then a second neighbor holding with their own personal firearms. And I quote in the, excuse me, I'm a little nervous.
That's all right.
In the, just the one sentence, the inmates got into a crash, left the vehicle, and then led police on a foot chase before they were taken into custody in Christiana, that's in Tennessee. And they conveniently didn't say anything regarding the 2 homeowners who held these killers at bay until the state troopers showed up. State troopers praised the homeowners. And I was wondering if Mr. Cass would take on the editors at the Chicago Tribune on selectively not including news that's pertinent to a story. And I'm not really referring to the Second Amendment issue, just the fact that they're omitting important information that could lead Chicago readers and Illinois readers into better informed decisions, and this plays into the budget battle also.
That's a good
fair
call.
question. Thanks for the call, Gaylord. Return to Legends of the Fall now.
Here's the deal. On the news brief, you're taking a lot of news and you're crunching it into a paragraph. So you're trying to get the most relevant facts. They were the killers were caught. They were captured. They're back. They're
You
caught.
can't include what phrase? 2 local homeowners held them off until police took them in custody.
I guess you could have. That could have been done. And you know what? If I had been writing it, I would. Maybe I'll write it. But I have to say, Gaylord, love the cutthroat trout.
Yeah,
in Montana.
And great call and a great point
call.
that Gaylord makes on media coverage. Something that's kind of below the fold, but it speaks to.
Oh, okay. Let's get to the watch. Here's the thing about radio that kills me. You guys, if it wasn't for the print reporters, what would you guys have to talk about?
Well, I'm not decrying print reporters. Okay. I'm just saying it speaks to the real bias comes in what you choose to report and not report, not just how you do it. And so Gaylord had a good point, and John, I concede your point. I would be nothing without you. You made me.
You know what? You started this thing with the sex bot and the me and the thong, and I just haven't been able to deal with it. I feel like I've been betrayed. Like, here's the guy I knew 20 years ago. He was writing his little conservative blog at Northwestern.
That guy's dead.
He's just
that
totally
guy's dead.
betrayed
The
me.
shell is left.
Yeah,
that's all that's left. Police pensions. Maybe you can get your footing, regain your footing. When we talk police pensions locally and nationally, and pensions generally, at 8:38. But now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
75 degrees in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Here are the stories we're following right now. A July 4 weekend, long into this new week, continues to be a violent one. 2 more are dead, 2 others wounded following a shooting on Chicago's far south side near 109th and Eberhard last night. President Trump talking trade before heading to Europe. receiving a warm welcome in Poland. But before that, taking to Twitter this morning, saying the U.S. has made some of the worst trade deals in history, and also noting that China increased trade with North Korea by 40% in the first quarter. President Trump will sit down with Russian President Vladimir Putin for an official bilateral meeting as well Friday on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Germany. We're watching automotive developments this morning as Mazda recalls more than 250,000 cars because of problems with a parking brake. The recall covers 2014 and 2015 Mazda 6s and 2014 and 2016 Mazda 3s. 3 are recovering, including 2 Chicago police officers following a crash on the south side last night. There's 67th and Racine. The Illinois General Assembly back in action later today. The House will pick up a package of legislation aimed at ending a 2-year Illinois budget standoff. They convene to try and override Republican Governor Bruce Rauner's veto of a no-cut $36 billion budget plan. And long before it was clogging up your email folder, Spam was an American classic. Today marks 80 years since Hormel introduced us to the canned pork product known the world over. When it came out in 1937, by the way, it was the only canned meat that did not need to be refrigerated. Rays over the Cubs, 6-5. A's topped the White Sox, 7-6. The news, a service of Napa Auto Parts this month. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores, the Napa Legend battery comes with a $15 prepaid Visa card by mail. So start every drive with a Legend. Save yourself some money with a Napa Legend battery. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees momentum still on the side of President Trump.
I was encouraging you to go out and vote on Georgia's 6th, but something else happened yesterday. There's something that I think is a little bit unanticipated. This has been a huge game changer for President Trump. Momentum is important. He has had a lot of wins at his face. Suddenly, he's got some wind at his back.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
8:37. Let's check the roads now. Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center in for Jim. Here's Al.
Thanks, Mike. On the Edens, the inbound trip just 20 minutes and about the same back out to Lake Cook. On the Kennedy, inbound half hour from O'Hare to downtown. 22 in the express lanes, 19 in the locals. Locals are actually faster right now. On the outbound Kennedy, we have an accident at Central blocking the right lane. Traffic backs up from Pulaski from downtown out to O'Hare, about 32 minutes. Eisenhower in from Thorndale to the post office, 47 minutes, and no outbound delays. Stevenson is 42 in from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. That's a lot better already. Outbound just 34 minutes. 55 is moving well both directions. The Dan Ryan inbound, 25 from 95th to downtown. No outbound delays. 57 inbound slows from 103rd to the Ryan. And Bishop Ford inbound from 103rd to the Ryan. Traffic is slow as well. Traffic answers when you need the most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Partial sunshine, 86 today. 75 at O'Hare. Water temp, Lake Michigan of 67. Your next news update is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next with our friend John Cass in for Amy this morning on AM 560, The Answer.
Home isn't just a place, it's the feeling of knowing you're safe. ADT lets you take that feeling with you. Learn more at ADT.com.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Karl-Heinz Cass. And Ann B. Davis's bowling ball has a tweet for you.
Yeah,
John.
I saw it too.
I like my coffee hot, my beer cold, and my sporting events ending with a declared winner.
I used to like hockey when they had.
Just saying.
When they played for draws because it takes a subtle and flexible mind to understand both of them. But I guess we should deal in cartoons.
A subtle and flexible mind.
That's right. When hockey had, you'd play for a draw, and when the Stanley Cup wasn't the big deal, the league championship was the big deal. That, because any team can get hot in a playoff, and all that's a playoff's about is selling tickets and selling more beer and more advertising for owners. But the top team in the league is the Chicago Fire, last to first, and that's how we roll. You don't like it? Too bad. Fire till I die. I'm a Fire fan.
Okay.
Karl-Heinz Granitza, yes, I respected you too.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, I just wanted to give you a chance to make your impassioned
Because
plea on behalf of soccer.
Fluid geometry and the subtle mind that could grasp that is, to me, worth applauding.
Okay.
And I applaud all of you out there who would drop Dan Proft's troglodytean hatred of soccer.
Wow.
Yeah. That's several syllables.
It's an impressive.
For me, that's tough.
Yeah, that's very nice. Very nice. That goes nice with that. The
lamb sauce?
Yeah, the lamb sauce you made yesterday.
Jimmy Benakis from Juicio's came up with it, sent it to me. It was just outstanding.
Okay.
I made that. Betty made that on the lamb and the ribs. It was just outstanding.
All right, maybe someday I'll earn an invite.
You know what? I think I'm going to have you over with. I'm going to try to find some commies that I might know and bring them together.
That would be Festivus.
Okay.
Here's a story, too. Speaking of people you respect, but sometimes it's difficult to have the conversation with people you respect. I'm talking about the men and women in blue. This story in the Wall Street Journal over the weekend, ill-funded police pensions, and I almost thought I said ill-funded, like I-L, like Illinois funded.
Yes.
But they're talking about this being a national problem. Ill-funded police pensions put cities in a bind. Talking about the challenge with pensions, paying the unfunded obligations that are being racked up at the local level, not just in Illinois.
You brought this up several weeks ago, didn't you?
Well, I brought up Chicago, and I
Right.
was rebuked. I was rebuked because
tongue lashing.
Because we looked at the Chicago pension funds, police pension funds filings to the Department of Insurance for the last 12 years, and based on what they're paying out versus what they're earning, and projecting that out, they will be unable to pay current beneficiaries in the year 2021.
So
less than 4 years from now, and the response is, "Oh, that's not what our actuaries say," but they won't give the numbers. FOP won't.
So
and there's a law that
do the guys know. I mean, the people out there.
Well, I don't know that. I don't know if they know. I don't know. So I think many pay very close attention, understandably so. You should, and maybe some are afraid to ask the difficult questions. So when they just say, oh, don't believe him or don't believe that story, don't believe math.
You leftist, Dan.
Don't believe math. Okay, don't believe math. Well, let's see where we're at in 2021 as with the political class that we have here, the Royals in Chicago and Springfield. You think this is going to end well for you? Okay, you can believe that.
How about
I believe in fairy tales. I used to.
How does it end well for the citizens when you have police officers already getting pushed around by the Royals, and then you have uncertainty in terms of how they can even do their job, and then on top of that, uncertainty for their fiscal health. How does public safety work?
Well, also, but let's be real honest. Let's have this difficult conversation. Since this is a national story, they're talking about San Jose, California, and New York City, and again, cities throughout the state. In the cities throughout the country, in the 1980s and 1990s, robust investment returns made government's pension promises look affordable. By 2001, major police and firefighter plans, followed by the public plans database, which tracks 150 major state and local pension funds, had a median of 100% of what they needed to pay for future obligations. And then that changed.
Oh.
Well, partly the 2008 financial crisis wiped out those earnings. At the same time, it put stresses on municipal budgets. And now Illinois is a unique case. This is a national discussion, kind of median, good faith efforts on behalf of local and state officials. That's not generally the case in Illinois. So I'll get to Illinois in a second because we've looked at the local police and fire pension funds around the state. I'll give you those numbers in a second. But this is nationally what's happening. So again, the 2008 financial crisis. And so, for example, Memphis, Tennessee gambled it could cut police pensions without any impact on safety. The city council voted to end pensions for municipal workers, including police, with 7.5 years of service or less, and replace them with hybrid pensions or combined 401k style benefits. 100 officers affected by the changes left the force out of a total of about 2,000. Homicides rose. Billboards erected by the police union around town made note of those statistics to generate public support. And Memphis currently has 1,928 officers, down from 2,400 in 2012. And, this is a back and forth. So you have the combination of what you just said, particularly when you have one of the most violent crime-ridden cities in the country in Chicago, and a lot of other mid-sized communities around Illinois that are suffering from violent crime as well, places like Rockford and Waukegan, East St. Louis, other places. So you have the desire for public safety, and that necessarily means police on the streets. That's certainly part of it. And then the question is fair compensation, reasonable pension. What do those look like, and how do we fund them, and how do we prioritize our spend? Questions that nobody in the Illinois ruling class has contemplated this century.
Meanwhile, Rahm spends $100 million on an unneeded DePaul
stadium.
Sports Palace on Lakeshore Drive. Why? Because somebody is developing all the land near DePaul, and those guys want to make sure that they're taken care of, and that the stadium wasn't put on DePaul land, and so the money goes over there to buy them off, and everybody's happy except there's no money for cops.
Well, so that's a fair point.
What makes me sick
That's a
about
fair
this.
point. But here's the other part of this: you have to look at the salary trajectory for police and firefighters too.
Yeah,
and it's well outpaced. The CPI, well outpaced inflation. And I'm saying they don't deserve a raise, but you have to contemplate compensation in the context of an overall budget. So where's the money going to come from? So you and where do you go, as the story is indicating, from a lot of these funds that were 101% funded, fully funded in the beginning of the century, to underfunded in across cities across the country, to death spiraling in big cities like Chicago leading the charge. That's what's happening. That's the math. And now you can decide what we want to do about the math. But those are the numbers. So the numbers are not partisan. They're just the numbers. The resolution, there may be partisan differences or policy differences. But let's at least start from the baseline that 2 + 2 = 4. What about that? And let me tell you, we looked at this, and you go to lgis.co, which is where all of the papers that I started, the outlets I started, are housed. We looked at 619 downstate and suburban police and fire pension funds. Last year, combined, those 619 downstate and suburban police and fire pension funds paid out $1 billion to current beneficiaries and lost $32 million in terms of returns. So you want to keep assuming a 7.5% return and just ignore what you're actually getting? You think that even this last 6-year bull market is going to last forever? 619 downstate and suburban police and fire pension funds paid out $1 billion last year, lost $32 million. Let me give you just one example, and you can go find to your county of interest if you go to lgis.co. But let's just do DuPage County. $132 million paid out in 2016, lost $7 million. 65 of the 66 DuPage County police and fire pension funds paid out $132 million to 2,355 retirees and inactive recipients while losing $7.5 million on their investments. That was based on, again, an analysis of the fund's mandated financial filings with the Illinois Department of Insurance. These are not our numbers. They're the actual numbers of the pension funds, police officers and firefighters and other public sector employees in Chicago and throughout the state.
So what are you telling these guys to do? What are you saying? Brace for it?
Well,
have a drink because the next thing is a punch right in the mouth?
Well, I'm telling you
What?
that's what's coming unless you do major evasive policy action. And so, as I said before, and I will say again, this is not reporting to celebrate, or this is not reporting to be vindictive, to say you deserve it. Let me just finish.
I got you.
It's to say, look ahead, ask questions. Don't believe me, go ask your union leadership. Don't believe me, go ask actuaries. Look at the numbers, because don't come to us and with another shakedown when these things capsize. That's my point. Don't come to me and blame, me and everybody else for not paying our fair share, for not being supportive of police and fire. That's bunk. And I'm sick of listening to that. From if you don't write a blank check, then you're not supportive of pick your employee category, teachers, firefighters, police. Nonsense. And your leadership isn't warning you about this. Your legislators aren't warning you about this. People like me, the Illinois Policy Institute, others that are on the right are telling you this because we're trying to save your pensions, to save the benefits you earned. And what do? Some of you in response, blame the messenger. Okay, fine.
It's your fault then.
Paul on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Dan, thanks for hearing me. Point of information. You talk about the actuaries calculating the liability. You just mentioned the 7.5% assumed return rate for the pension plan. I don't think anybody knows this except those of us who work on other pension plans. A question came up. I work for a large group, a group plan, and a question came up. The yardstick they're using governmental accounting standards, and they are using that 7.5% assumed return rate as their discount rate for calculating the liability. So when you talk about their percentage being funded, it's not the same as a private pension, like
yes,
say, the Tribune pension.
It's not even the same as trade unions, private sector unions that can't do that can't do what the public sector unions doing, or their business manager would go to prison. Thanks for the call, Paul. I mean, just to give you a sense, 7.5% assumed rate of return over the 12 years. Chicago Police Pension Fund, for the filings we looked at, earned 5.19%. That was the average over 12, and they're assuming 7.5. You come to a ravine and you need to get to the other side. Assume a bridge.
Rhetoric doesn't have anything to do with numbers.
Kevin in Northfield.
2 quick points. First point, we love the cops. We love them. But in Indiana, right over the state line, cops in Gary, Indiana, a dangerous place in certain neighborhoods, they earn a pension of $1,700, $1,800, $1,900 a month after they put in their 20, 25 years, 30 years. The Chicago cops start at $6,200 on the low end per month. So there's a difference between a fiscal conservative state like Indiana and Illinois. Second point, developing what you mentioned, Dan. If Dan and I start a business and we're hiring John Cass, and in 20 or 30 years he gets a pension, each year we have to segregate 1/20th or 1/30 of the money. And if we don't, you know what happens to us as managers of the businesses? If we don't segregate that money, we go to jail, baby. Jail.
Yes. Thanks for the call,
And
Kevin.
In Illinois, they just borrow off that to build some more stuff that we don't need.
And they do so with the public sector unions complicit in the short funding.
Exactly.
This is a key underreported point. That you're the unions that then decry the underfunding of the pensions were in on it. Sean in Elmwood Park.
For decades, it's willful ignorance of both the people who buy that talking point of, well, they don't fund their side, so the deal's off, and you got to give us the promise you made. That the entire thing is mark-to-market Enron math. And it's important that you tear it down now, because here's the other thing. I am so sick of this false virtue being used against me that I go to work and you destroy my retirement in the name of yours. It doesn't work that way. Now, we have the ability to move in Illinois, which everybody with an IQ over 60 after this last debacle of traitorous Republicans shows you better start packing now. But to keep buying this nonsense as if it's the evil government and they won't live up to their bargain, it's the people who bought the lie in the first place. They're culpable too. So I'm sick of the false virtue of they do their job and we had a promise. I don't care. I don't care. And another thing, Cass, when you're going to give us cooking tips, stop using your hands as measuring tools because they're the size of other people's shoes. So give us the right measurement so I could duplicate the
It's
risk.
a hoofta, baby, a hoofta.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you have pain, listen up, Dennis Prager here. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You don't have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. So Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of its side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. On the occasion of America's 241st birthday, take a moment to celebrate economist Thomas Sowell's 87th. The latter complements the former. Born in the Jim Crow South in 1930, Sowell's family was without electricity or hot running water. No one in his family had gone beyond the 6th grade. Sowell graduated magna cum laude from Harvard, earned his Ph.D. in economics from the University of Chicago. He then spent the last half-century as one of the most prolific and persuasive economists advancing free minds and free markets in American history. Make some time away from the grill this holiday to peruse Sowell's Conflict of Visions primer on competing schools of political thought if you haven't. Because other than Milton Friedman, no American economist has better harnessed his intellect to make economics accessible to the everyman. An example of Sowell's succinct summaries? The first lesson of economics is scarcity. There is never enough of anything to satisfy all those who want it. The first lesson of politics is to disregard the first lesson of economics. In his farewell column at the end of 2016, Sowell wrote, "We cannot return to the past, but let us hope we can learn something from the past to make for a better present and future. The more who learn from Sowell's life's work, the better the present and the future will be for America."
All right, I have to admit it was an eyesore. The chipping and paint peeling on our front and back porch, it looked awful. But thanks to CertaPro painters, the porch looks brand new. The painters who showed up were professional, respectful. They were done in just a few hours. And when they left, the house looked brand new. They really are the best in the business. And it's not too late to book your exterior painting project. There are several spots open on CertaPro's summer schedule. Here's an idea. Let CertaPro painters transform your home while you're on vacation and return to a freshly painted house. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary this year, and so we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. For a free estimate, call 1-800-GO-CERTA, C-E-R-T-A, or visit CertaPro.com, that's Certa with the C. Get that painting project off your to-do list. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life.
When you're hiring for a growing business, you don't need lots of candidates. You need the right candidates. You need Indeed.com. with an algorithm that positions your job post where quality candidates are and screener questions that help you zero in on the best talent. Indeed.com, the site proven through an independent study to deliver 5 times more hires than any other. New users claim your $50 credit for a sponsored job at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
As a small business owner, you make every dollar count. So what could you do with $10? Go to Vistaprint.com today and you'll get 500 high-quality custom business cards for only $9.99. That's less than 2 cents per card. And at Vistaprint, your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. So it's never been easier to turn 500 strangers into connections. Just visit Vistaprint.com and use promo code 1818 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 1818.
Here are the stories we're following on AM 560. The Answer this morning. The governor vetoes the budget. The Senate overrides, and House vote is set for later today in Springfield. 60 shot over the Chicago holiday weekend. 2 police officers and 1 other person hurt in a Southside crash. Rays hold on to beat the Cubs. WIND Chicago News Time, 9 o'clock.
So much for China working with us.